Good evening everyone and welcome to Solent Soccer Night. I'm Marcus Mansfield and we're with you for the next 3 hours bringing you live football and non-stop action. From Reading to Bath, from Dorking to the electric atmosphere of Champions League nights, we've got a packed schedule and plenty of stories to follow this evening. Our web and social media team will be keeping you up to date throughout the night, bringing you all the latest updates and behind the scenes moments from Soccer Night. Make sure you head over to Solent Sports News and follow along. Joining me in the studio tonight is the best dressed man in the panel, Max Parsons.
Good evening.
Followed by the worst dressed man in the panel, Felix Holland.
Good evening also.
Also joining me are a former rugby player in another life, Isaac Hale.
Good evening.
And finally, a man who's wiggled his way onto the panel from radio, Samuel Farris-Clark.
Good evening.
A very strong lineup here this evening, ready to guide you through all the action. Max, let's start with you. Which game are you covering tonight?
Thanks, Marcus. Yeah, I've got two French powerhouses tonight as Monaco host Paris Saint-Germain in the Champions League. The hosts through the group stage by the skin of their teeth. They end on 10 points with a goal difference of -6, which means their point against Juventus last time out was the difference in their qualification. PSG, obviously the holders of the title, but this season they've achieved a better group stage finish when they finished 11th compared to last campaign's 15th, so it's a better start to their season. Brilliant,
plenty to look forward to there. On to Felix, what have you got for us this evening?
I'm watching Borussia Dortmund versus Atalanta tonight at the Signal Iduna Park. I think it'll be a close game, to be honest. Both teams have been really impressive domestically. However, their form in Europe has been a little bit questionable. Both sides lost their last 2 games in the league phase, so they'll both be hoping to turn it around. But yeah, I think it's going to be a close one.
Wonderful. Then Isaac, where will your focus be tonight?
Not quite as glamorous as these two lads at Ashton Gate for this evening. Bristol City against Wrexham. Both teams can move into the playoff places tonight with a win. They both sit on Wrexham on 8th, Bristol City in 9th, just outside them. Wrexham coming off the back of a good win against Ipswich in the FA Cup. Bristol City didn't have to play on Saturday, their game was postponed, so a fresh side. They last played in the league and won 3-2 at Hull City, so be a good game.
Wonderful, looking forward to it. And finally, Sam, round us off, what match are you keeping your eye on this evening?
Well, I have got a repeat of what was probably the best league stage match of the Champions League. The final game for Benfica and Real Madrid. Real Madrid just needing a point to get into the top 8 and after being in this playoffs. Benfica ending up needing a 2-goal win, winning by 2 goals to get through. And in the 98th minute, goalkeeper Anthony Turbin got a 98th minute, not winner, but a goal to put them 4-2 up and send them through. So we've got a repeat of that.
Very exciting. Hopefully this evening's game will also bring some great moments. It's obviously Pancake Day, and we've been challenged to see how many puns we can flip into conversation. What are your predictions? Let us know on our socials. Now, from Champions League to the Championship, our correspondent David Howes has spoken to Pompey manager John Massinio ahead of tonight's game against Charlton.
And looking ahead to tomorrow night, Nathan Jones's Charlton Athletic, what are you expecting from them this time around?
Yeah, I think it will still be very similar in terms of the way that Charlton set up. They haven't changed since we played them at the back end of December. I expect a very physical side as well. Picked up, I think, 3 really good results to put them in a good position in the table. So I went to see them the other night against Stoke, deserved the victory. And they've got a lot of quality across the squad, so I expect it to be a tough game.
Amazing to hear from John Massinio there. Tonight, it's the Wiltshire Derby in the National League South. We're heading to Eric Hogg, who's in a packed local pub right in the middle of the rivalry. I'm afraid we don't have Eric Hogg, so we'll move on from that segment. Before the rest of the Champions League games get underway this evening, there was an early kick-off between Galatasaray and Juventus. The score currently sits as 2-2 in the 60th minute. Max, what have you made of the action so far?
Well, the first half was so Juventus dominated. They went 1-0 down early through Gabriel Sara, who found his first championship goal. And literally, as I'm saying that, Galatasaray have found the lead. It was a free kick from the corner of the box, and it was headed in by Davinson Sanchez. It was a wicked ball from Gabriel Sara, and they've completely changed the game on its head. They went into half-time 2-1 down. They only found the equaliser 5 or so minutes ago, but they've been absolutely all over Juventus so far in this second half, berating the Juventus goal, and they've finally got their reward and gone 3-2 up.
Wonderful. This is exactly what the Champions League is all about, and hopefully the other games that we're covering this evening will also bring as much drama as this. Let's check in with some of the other reporters this evening. Tiana Mawalu, where are you?
Hey guys, I'm Tiana and I'm on my way to Bath City versus Ebbsfleet United. Let's go.
Now to Milton Keynes to Leighton Hewlett.
I am Leighton Hewlett. I am outside Stadium MK as I'm reporting on MK Dons versus Crawley tonight. Dons hold a record for the most player appearances in one player in Dean Lewington, holding 771 appearances for the club. And Crawley hold a record for the highest aggregate score of 8-1 in the playoffs.
Cool, we'll head back to Max with team news ahead of Monaco PSG. Obviously for Monaco, Takumi Minamino, who scored the win against PSG in November, is ruled out through injury. So what can you give us about team news ahead of this big clash this evening?
Well, both teams have made one change each. For Monaco, it's Tilo Keraher coming out of the centre of the defence for Jordan Tezzi. These teams, like you said, face each other in the league just before Christmas, and it was a 1-0 win for Monaco. It's Florian Balogun who's going to lead the lineup for Monaco out in attack. He has scored a fair few goals for Monaco. He's sort of been their danger man so far. So important to have a player like that up top. For PSG, out comes the young talent Desiree Doué. He's replaced by Bradley Bacola, coming in on the wing, in a front three of Kvaratskhelia, Desiree Doué and Dembele is going to be lethal.
Yeah. Perfect, thanks Max. We're going to head now to the Meadowbank Stadium where reporter Max Cochrane is watching National League South leaders Dorking Wanderers taking on third place Hornchurch.
I'm here at Meadowbank, the home of Dorking Wanderers, as they host Hornchurch in a massive, massive game for the National League South title race. Dorking come into this game having won 5 in a row and sitting 2 points clear top at the table, whereas the visitors have just won their first game in 3 coming into this, but a win tonight could move them level on points with Dorking. Dorking are without some key players such as Charlie Carter, Jimmy Mewett and Paul McCallum, but Hornchurch aren't exactly firing themselves, getting a last-minute winner at home to Tonbridge Angels thanks to January Player of the Month in the National League South, Angelo Belanta. Tonight will be an important game for both teams and I cannot wait for it.
Back to the Champions League now, and Dortmund versus Atalanta at the Signal Iduna Park. Felix, what's the team news there? Obviously Dortmund without centre-backs Schlotterbeck and Soule through injury, and Charles Leclerc is sidelined for Atalanta for 5 weeks following knee surgery. So what can you tell us?
Yeah, it's going to be a changed side, obviously, for both teams. Not the ideal situation for either of them. I think Dortmund will probably be taking a little bit more confidence going into it. I know there's a lot of centre-backs missing, but they've been really good up front. They're currently on a fantastic run of form going into this. I think 10 undefeated domestically. So, yeah, it's the European form that's been the biggest trouble for both teams, but as always, it will be Guirassy, their main talisman. He's got 15 goals and 5 assists in all competitions so far this tournament, so they'll definitely be looking towards him to get their goals.
Wonderful. And then back to the Championship to Isaac. Have you got team news at Ashton Gate for us?
Yeah, got the lineups up. Yeah, Ross McCrory for Bristol City. They last obviously played 11 days ago at Hull and 3-2 win. He scored. He's on the bench for Bristol City tonight. Bit of a surprise. Also surprised to see Josh Windass not start for Wrexham tonight. Obviously they played 3 days ago, so probably a bit more of a rotation. But yeah, apart from that, pretty expected lineup from both sides, I'd say. Jason Knight also misses out for Bristol City. He's on the bench, but apart from that, no bigger dramas really.
Wonderful. And then from Ashton Gate to Benfica, Sam, what's the team news ahead of Benfica Real Madrid this evening?
Well, Real Madrid have got quite a few men out today. Militao, Asensio, Bellingham and Rodrigo. But looking at their team, you'd hardly know it. Stars still like Mbappe, Vinicius, Camavinga, Tchouaméni, Gula. The depth of this Real Madrid team, it's insane. And as for Benfica, it's about what we expected. A 38-year-old Nicolas Otamendi at the back, captaining them.
Wonderful. And then obviously a big night in the Champions League tonight. There's been lots of talk about the format of the Champions League. Obviously it changed at the start of last season. What are your guys' thoughts on it? Starting with you, Max.
I am controversial. I'm quite a big fan of it. I don't really feel like when it comes to the setup of itself, it's actually done too much different, but one thing that we are seeing, we're just seeing more football. We're seeing more exciting football. You look at the Real Madrid-Benfica game just from a couple of weeks ago, that feels like something that wouldn't have happened potentially in the last one. So I feel like, especially with more of the fact that it's potentially harder for the so-called super teams in Europe to succeed a bit more, which brings them down. We see bigger matches earlier on. I'm a big fan of it.
So am I. I really enjoy it. You get the, obviously, Liverpool last year, cruising the league phase stage and then playing PSG in the next round and getting knocked out and PSG going on to win it. So I think definitely it's been a very good change. Obviously, as you say, more football and stuff. Felix, what are your thoughts on it?
I think it's a bit mixed for me, to be honest. I do, like you say, I enjoy the sort of the chaos of it, but I almost feel like there might be a little bit too much chaos sometimes, because you see so many great teams are sort of not where they should be, and then you see teams, not to point fingers, but Spurs finishing fourth, and sometimes you do wonder, is it really the best thing for the sake of the competition? Because we all like the sort of randomness, don't we? But sometimes it's a little bit too random, but I feel like not everyone kind of gets the credit they deserve or has the opportunity to put in the performance that they should be putting in.
Putting the Champions League aside now, we've got reporter Jago Everson at Ashton Gate for us this evening, so we're going to head there now.
Yeah, thanks. Ashton Gate is starting to get quite busy now. This is looking to be a very important game if either team managed to get a win, they would both, either would go into the top 6, which means playoffs.
Cool, no worries. Back to the Champions League format. Isaac, what are your thoughts on it?
Yeah, I've enjoyed it. Wasn't a massive fan when they came in. I was a bit, if it's not broke, don't fix it. We've obviously had some great sort of games over these last couple of seasons. But yeah, it mixes it up a bit. You obviously see Sporting Lisbon snuck into the top 8. They get through straight to the round of 16. And I like the concept of the playoff round as well. You see a few teams that you probably wouldn't expect to be in there. Real Madrid, obviously Man City as well last year, I think, just missed out on the top 8. And we obviously saw those two play each other in the playoff round, which was a bit different. You're usually seeing those guys play on the quarters or the semi. So, yeah, I've enjoyed it so far, yeah.
Got to stop there. There's been a red card in the Galatasaray-Juventus game. Max? You've been watching that one for us.
Yeah, and it was a really interesting one. The ball's played over to Sanchez, and as he takes a touch round Cabal, Cabal sort of just brings his hand across him, smacks him around the face, and it goes down. And it sort of brings an 11-on-11 brawl from both teams. Everyone coming was over. The ref gets in the middle of it. It's sort of just handbags, a bit of pantomime at the end of the day. But Cabal's been sent off, and Juventus are down to 10.
Yeah. Finally, back to the Champions League format. Sam, to you, what are your thoughts on it? Have you enjoyed it?
Yeah, well, I think football, the things you enjoy about football, it's the moments. And I think it's just such a great format for creating moments. Whilst I don't, maybe, like most teams may not play an equal level of opposition all the time, I just think it's so brilliant for creating those big, what the hell is happening, especially on that last day moments.
Wonderful. We're going to head to the Snow Stadium in AFC Tottenham now, where James McLean is live.
Welcome to the Snow Stadium here for this National League South fixture between Tottenham and Hampton and Richmond Borough. 15th place Tottenham v 19th place Hampton. Tottenham's last 5 have been a mixed bag. 1-2, lost 2 and drawn 1, losing last time out quite heavily against Ebbsfleet 4-0. Hampton, on the other hand, makes for slightly better reading, winning 2, losing 1 and drawing 2. And this game today is Tottenham's only their 4th of 2026, owing to postponements. In terms of who to look for in the firing line tonight, it'll be Tottenham's Tony Lee will look to expand on his 12 goals that he's scored so far this season. And for Hampton, that will fall to Craig Fasamande, who is on 6. And last time out, these two met in December, and it was Hampton who scored a 2-0 win at home, so Tottenham will be out for revenge. I also have some team news for you. So Tottenham will start with Ryan Gosney in goal, Brandon Hoonstrup, Mike Carter, Ashley Clark, Tony Lee, Dec Rose, Christy Ward, Christos Batzelis, Tyler Cordner, Jacob Towney, and Hampton will go with Dewhurst in goal, Paul Field, Edwino Vaz, Brendan Kiernan, Max Kretschmer, Taylor Clark, Harry Thomas, Alan Massey, who is also captain tonight, Kwaku Frimpong, Luis Fernandez, and up top, number 39, Reece Griggo-Cox.
Wonderful. Well, back to the Champions League now. your predictions for tonight's games, lads. Do you think any of the teams will get stuck on the ceiling or stuck in the pan, or do you think some of the teams will perform well and exceed expectations maybe and produce some impressive results?
We all know how dangerous PSG can be in front of goal. They've scored 21 goals in their 8 league fixtures. That's a 2.63 goal per game average, and they've only conceded 11, which is an average of 1.38. We obviously mentioned when the teams faced in November it was 1-0, but there were 6 cards in that game, one of them as a red. And add that to the fact that Monaco have had 16 yellow cards in the group stage and 1 red so far this season. I'm expecting a feisty one.
Felix, what about you? Predictions for tonight?
I think Dortmund will just about edge it tonight because I think they have to. Obviously, I think it's a very close match and they've got to use that home advantage. I think they've been playing really well, like I say, domestically, but they've got to put their foot down. I think tonight, use that home advantage because if it does go to extra time, penalties, that will be in the return fixture in Bergamo. So. Yeah, I think Dortmund are going to be forced really to go for it tonight.
Obviously, yeah, you mentioned Dortmund there. They're on a good run of form. They won 6 straight games in the Bundesliga, but have won just 1 of their last 4 in the Champions League. Do you think that form in the Champions League will continue tonight, or do you think they'll be able to take their league form into this European clash this evening?
Well, I'm unsure because the nature of the Champions League is you don't really. It's hard to sort of measure against who they're playing. So I mean. Atalanta, they got off to a kind of a poor start this season, but after sacking their manager, they've sort of turned it around. So I think they'll be confident going into it. I think they'll think they're the better team. But overall, it's going to be close for both of them. But I think Dortmund will edge it just about.
Wonderful. And now we've got team news from Stadium MK. So straight to Leighton Hewlett for us.
Team news is here in at MK Dons. Craig McGillivray is starting in goal. Alex Gilby is captain. Former Crawley player Liam Kelly is playing. Hepburn Murphy has come in for the injured Callum Patterson. Crawley start up front. Former Don striker Danilo Orsi with Odemeo dropping to the bench.
Now, Isaac, your predictions ahead of this evening's game at Ashton Gate.
Yes, tough game to call, obviously. Bristol City both teams really actually mixed form of late. I think Bristol City will edge it tonight, being at home. It's obviously a big night with obviously playoff places probably on the line. You've got to expect Bristol City to turn up at home and take the 3 points. They've got to go for that tonight, I think.
Wonderful. And then to you, Sam, Benfica, Real Madrid. Do you think it's going to be another cracker?
Normally it'd be very hard to look past Real Madrid. But just a few weeks ago, we saw that gods can bleed. We saw Benfica 4-2. And I think it would just be so Jose Mourinho against his old club just to pull it out the bag. An ugly game of football where they just manage it. So for that reason, I've got to go with Benfica.
Yeah. Wonderful. An update on the Galatasaray-Juventus games. Currently still 3-2 to Galatasaray in the 74th minute, whilst Juventus obviously still down to 10 men. Other games we're covering this evening. In League One, we've got Leyton Orient versus Plymouth Argyle. Declan Murphy's there for us. That's a 7:45 p.m. kickoff. Yeah, and then... also in League One, we've got Reading versus Bolton Wanderers. We've got Jake Pearce there for us this evening. In the National League, 7:45 kickoff at the VBS Community Stadium, Sutton United versus Woking.
Oh.
And then goal in the Galatasaray-Juventus game, Max.
Yeah, and it's Lang with his second, just a complete mess at the back for Juventus. Awful defence. I can't believe really what I've seen. Juventus powerhouses of Europe 10 years ago, and they are completely falling apart in Turkey here. I mean, Osimhen done brilliantly there, coming from behind to come and win the ball, but just such a mess.
What does he do?
As he passes it back, they're playing about with it at the back, and Galatasaray have done brilliantly to completely flip this game on its head. That's the sugar on top for Galatasaray, and they lead 4-2.
Oh. Wonderful. Talking of sugar on top, lads, what are your favourite toppings for pancakes on Pancake Day? Sam, to you first.
I hate pancakes. I think they're miserable. Sorry to be controversial. I guess that makes me a bad guy because I don't like a pancake. No, honestly, I think they're awful. I think people just like them because they can chuck tons of sugar on them. They don't taste of much. I just hate them.
Tell us how you really feel.
Isaac, to you, what's your favourite topping on a pancake?
Probably a Nutella, man. On a Nutella with maybe a bit of banana in there as well.
Ooh,
yeah.
bit of banana.
Yeah.
Cool. Before we get to Isaac and Max, we're going to the Bet-Right Stadium, Leyton Orient. Declan Murphy.
Oh, hi, I'm at Plymouth versus Leyton Orient. I've got the team news in front of me now. So for Leyton Orient, they have Toby Oyewami in net, James Morris, Dan Happ, and Will Forrester, the captain, Ollie O'Neill, Tyreek Backison, who did used to play for Plymouth, and Favour Fawumi. Dylan Levitt, new signing starting tonight with Sean Clare, Don Ballard, ex-Saints, and top goal scorer in the division with Theo Archibald up front. And for Plymouth, it's Connor Hazard in goal, Matthias Ross, Joe Edwards, the captain, Alex Mitchell, Caleb Wards, Michaeli Boateng, Herbie Kane, Bim Pebble, Roman Curtis, Owen Dale, and Wes Harden. So no place for the 2 goal scorers in the last times these have played. No place for Talaj, he is injured, and no place for Josh Caroma as he is on the bench. He scored last time these 2 sides met in the league as Leyton Orient took that 1-0.
Cool. And then Isaac, for you, what's your favourite topping on a good old pancake? Sorry, not Isaac, Felix.
Yeah, please, honestly. I'm a bit traditional, to be honest. I like a bit of lemon juice on there, you know, because when else, realistically, you're going to put lemon juice on anything, you know, other than a lemon drizzle cake, I suppose. But you know, other than that, I think I'd go for Nutella.
Wonderful. And then finally, you, Max.
I might go a little bit woke, but I like a bacon and syrup. Yeah, a nice thick pancake. None of this flat nonsense. Yeah. A thick pancake with bacon and syrup for me.
Wonderful. And then for me, it definitely have to be lemon and sugar for me. Plain and simple, nice and easy.
Yeah. No nonsense.
But yeah, back to around the grounds this evening. Back to the National League South. At the Raymac, we've got Salisbury versus Chippenham Town, 7:45 kickoff, and Eric Hogg is there for us. Obviously, previously mentioned at the Meadowbank, Dorking Wanderers, Hornchurch. Max Cochrane is there for us. That's also 7:45 kickoff. And then at Twerton Park Stadium, we've got Tiana Mawalu watching Bath City versus Ebbsfleet United, which is also a 7:45 p.m. kickoff. Where to go to next? We will go to... Gents, any thoughts on the other games this evening, aside from the ones you're covering in the Champions League? Max?
Yeah, I'm really interested to see what Dorking do. Like I said, you know, they had a really slow start to the season in the National League. I think it's really hard when it comes to Dorking because they're still a relatively new club. So it's not like they've got that old school fan base to follow them through and to get them through these games that some of the clubs at this late stage do, at that level do. So I think they find it really hard when they get to this sort of level to try and find that next gear. But what I also don't think helps them all the time is the media coverage. Every move Mark White and that team make is documented, is put online. So it's so easy for the bad to outweigh the good and to try and get through that. I think they're one of the more powerful teams in that league this season. I do think they'll have enough to get themselves through, but tonight's going to be a hard one.
Obviously, talking about Dorking, amazing manager in Mark White. Obviously, he's very, very sort of out there as a manager. What are your gents' thoughts on him? I'll go to you, Felix.
I think he's a bit strange, to be honest. I don't know how to feel about him. He's had a lot of clips sort of go viral, hasn't he? You know, and sometimes I just think he's a bit loud and he's a bit shouty. I think he's probably quite egotistical. So, but fair play to him. He's done very well with Dorking Wanderers. So, who am I to judge?
Yeah, obviously. Go to you, Isaac. What other games are you looking forward to this evening?
Yeah, Charlton Portsmouth for sure. It's a big game for both those teams at that sort of, you know, one of those teams wins and you're looking at, you know, there's a high chance that they stay up, I think. Obviously, Leicester and Oxford are still sort of floating around, still in touch with the rest above sort of 21st and upwards where Portsmouth are now. So yeah, a loss for either of these teams, you're looking at possibly getting dragged into a bit of a relegation fight. So yeah, obviously that's a big game, I think.
We are now going to head to the Meadowbank. Max Cochrane's there, at Dorking Hornchurch. Cool. I'm afraid we've got some technical difficulties with Max there at the Meadowbank. So, go to Sam. What other games are you looking forward to this evening?
Well, I think the one that Max is covering is really interesting. Obviously, two teams from the same league, Monaco and PSG, playing each other. And I think that always makes for a really interesting dynamic in Europe. I mean, I think we used to see it quite a lot with, if you remember that Man City-Tottenham game with the offside Sterling goal. And it was just... It was just a crazy game of football, and I always think those domestic games in Europe they've got a bit of an edge to them.
Wonderful. Hopefully the technical difficulties have sorted with Max at Dorking Hornchurch, so we're going to head to him now. Cool. I'm afraid we've got more technical difficulties, so we will move on. Obviously, the FA Cup quarter-final draw was made yesterday evening. What ties are you guys looking out at as ones that will stand out to you?
Well, from a frustration point of view as a Norwich fan, I think Leeds versus Norwich is always sort of a really nice mouth-watering one. Norwich are one of the most, if not the most informed teams in England at the minute, won 7 of their last 8 games, and since Philippe Clement's come in, he's really changed that. But I think this is a really good chance for Norwich to show where they're at. It's a perfect draw for Leeds, especially with where they are in the Premier League. I think they would have taken any Championship or below team at home, and they'd snap their hand off for it. But I don't think Norwich is going to be as easy of a task as some of their fans are making out. I think it's one of them that are going to be. It's one of them games that's going to be filled with respect. It's going to be a very fast and attacking style of play because that's the way both Farke and Clement play their football. Obviously, Farke, former Norwich as well, some of the best years of Norwich City's history through that man. So it's going to be one that's going to be filled with emotion, but both teams will sort of feel decently confident that they can win.
Cool. We'll come back to the FA Cup in a second, but we're going to try Max Cochrane at Dorking once again.
Hello, I'm here at Meadowbank, home of Dorking Wanderers as they host Hornchurch in tonight's National League game. Dorking have made 4 changes to their team with Jimmy Mewett, Paul McCallum, James McShane and Harry Sibbald out of the starting 11. Frank Vincent, George Knight, who's making his first appearance, or start, shall I say. Alfie Rutherford and Luke Moore come in. For Hornchurch, they have brought in both Josh Hare and Miles Weston for the match after Saturday's win against Tonbridge Angels. I'm excited to be here, although it is pretty cold.
Cool. Thank you, Max. Now we're going to head to the Valley for Charlton Portsmouth and David Howes.
David Howes here reporting for Solent Sports News. We are here at the Valley for Charlton against Portsmouth, a rearranged fixture in the Championship, obviously the reverse fixture. There's a lot of emotion in now. We had to abandon the game after 10 minutes, unfortunately, due to a medical emergency. So there's going to be a lot of emotion in tonight's game, but on the pitch, it's a big game for both teams. Charlton trying to pull away from that Championship drop zone as fast as they can. Portsmouth as well, just above Leicester City by a point, who were in FA Cup action on Saturday, which meant they dropped into the bottom 3. So for Pompey, they need to pick up a result tonight. Regardless, it's a game in hand. It's one of 2 game in hands that John Messino's side have got. They've got to take advantage here at the Valley. They haven't won here since February 2021. When they won 3-1 in the COVID season. Just a big ask for John Messino's side. 14 injuries in the Pompey squad. Can John Messino's side get 3 points, or can Nathan Jones get payback from that reverse fixture where Harvey Nibbs' equaliser was cancelled out by Yang Min Hook, who is now on loan at Coventry, no longer in the Portsmouth squad. But it's going to be a big task for both sides to get 3 points here in the Championship.
Thank you, David. We look forward to hearing updates from the Valley from you this evening. I know we said we'd come back to the FA Cup, lads, but we'll move away from that for a second to talk about Tottenham and sacking of Thomas Frank this week. Isaac, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think it was initially a big gamble even to appoint appoint Thomas Frank. Aside from obviously the Brentford, that Brentford run he went on was decent. Took them up obviously, and then keeping them in the Prem. But if you look at the job that Brentford are doing this season without him, actually, it's clearly a very well-run club, which I think at the moment Spurs just isn't. Yeah. To be honest.
Fair enough. And then obviously there was another manager who was sacked on the same day, in fact, at Nottingham Forest. Sam, what were your thoughts on that?
I thought it was slightly harsh. I know obviously he wasn't on a brilliant run in that moment, but I think the absolute churn they had right at the beginning of the season, obviously with Nuno, who he never looked quite settled going into that season. There was talks of him not liking Marinakas, not liking the signings, so that ended quite quickly. Then you go into Ange, and it's a disaster from start to finish. 30 days of it, or however long it was. And you get Dyche in, and whilst not brilliant, it seemed a lot steadier. It seemed they knew what they were doing, even if what they were doing wasn't brilliant. So I was a bit surprised.
Cool. There has been a goal in the Galatasaray game. We'll get to that in a second, but first we're going to go to the BetRight Stadium for Leyton Orient versus Plymouth Argyle and Declan Murphy.
Hello, I'm Declan Murphy for Solent Sports News. I'm at the BetRight Stadium for Leyton Orient versus Plymouth in the Sky Bet League One. Both teams have played each other already this season, once in the Cup, once in the league, with each side getting a victory. Plymouth with the victory in the Cup and Leyton Orient with the victory in the league. Josh Cromer and Tolaj both got the goals in them previous two matches. Neither of them are starting today in this fixture. Leyton Orient looking for a win after their 0-0 draw at the weekend. Plymouth looking to keep momentum on after their 4-0 win at Blackpool. As for this afternoon's game, we've got the team news, which I'll be telling you about shortly, and it should be a great game here at the BetRight Stadium.
We'll come back to Tottenham in a second, but as mentioned just before we went to Declan there, Galatasaray have scored again to make it 5-2. Max, talk us through it.
It's a really strange one because Osimhen has just bullied Kelly there completely. Kelly's plenty of experience in different leagues all over the country, played in England, should be used to physicality like that, but Osimhen just got he was behind him. Kelly, I don't know if he thought he had more time on the ball than he did or not, but Osimhen just nicks in front of him, shoulders him out the way, finds Sacha Boye, who, it's a venomous strike down the right-hand side across the goal. Keeper had absolutely no chance, and Juventus have got a serious mountain to climb when they go back to Italy in 2 weeks' time. Yeah.
Obviously, back to Tottenham now, and former manager Ange Postecoglou went on the Stick to Football podcast this week and was very sort of expressive with what he felt was happening at Tottenham. Felix, what were your thoughts on it?
I think it was hard done by, really, to be honest. I think for a club like Tottenham, in the position they were, the butt of every joke, really, as part of the Big Six. Obviously, their league form is terrible. But they won that Europa League, and now they sacked him on that sort of premise that they didn't do very well in the league. They get Frank in, and they're equally as poor. And I think it goes to show that it's coming back to bite them, really, Spurs.
Yeah. And then Sam, how do you think new manager Igor Tudor will do at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium?
Well, I think he'll do good enough. I feel like this season there's a slight possibility of relegation. I think he'll keep them well clear of that. I think the squad's too good. I don't think they'll really challenge for anything more than that. I think they'll just end up mid-table, floating, doing nothing.
Yeah. Isaac, do you think Tudor will bring success to Tottenham, or do you think he'll be another one where they struggle and then end up getting relegated?
I think there's a genuine chance they get dragged into that. I think it's a bit sort of careful what you wish for with Spurs at the moment. They're just going through this sort of run, and I don't know what is going to end it, really. This new manager's not going to come in and make a massive difference, I don't think. He can't make any signings. It's in February that he's been appointed. So I don't see him suddenly turning it around and making them even mid-table, to be honest. I think there's a chance they get dragged in.
Relegation battle for Spurs for you, Max, or not?
It's just a mess, isn't it? They're not going to get relegated. It's sort of already done. There is 5 or 6 teams down there that are worse than them, but they are a laughingstock completely. I think Isaac's put it perfectly in the sense of he can't make any transfers. Thomas Frank has had 2 windows to create a squad, and all right, they are a laughingstock. They are poor, but it's deep rooted in the whole club. And was brutal in that stick to football, but nothing he said was incorrect. He said about the signings, and you know, Tottenham can push for these big players as much as they want. They can say to Barcelona about their players, and they can challenge these players when it comes to facilities, to stadium, to location, to training facilities, but the money's not there. And also, who's going to look at that situation and want to go? There's going to be players that are playing for Bournemouth and playing for even clubs like Sunderland who are going to look at that Tottenham situation and think, I don't want a part of that. They are not going to be able to pull in these big names that the other big six and even the top 10 can do now.
Yeah, and then obviously back to Forest. Sam, they replaced Sean Dyche with Vitor Pereira. How do you think he'll get on?
I don't know. At Wolves, it started very well for him. Obviously, they were bottom of the league that season, and he came in, there was a bit of a bounce. He was seen drinking in the pubs. The fans loved him. So he seemed to maybe not be so tactically adept, but created a real spirit at Wolves. And if he could do that at Forest, obviously, it's a big football club. There's a lot of passionate fans. I think that could really go in his favour. So if he can create that same atmosphere he had when he first came into Wolves, I think he could do quite well.
Do you think he'll be the man to take them above that relegation fight, or do you think they're still stuck in it for the rest of the season with the likes of West Ham, Leeds, the clubs, maybe even Tottenham, the clubs that are in and around there?
Yeah, it's a really difficult position for them. It's a good standard near the bottom this year. I think West Ham have really started picking up some points, picking up a bit of form. So I'm sitting on the fence here, but I wouldn't be confident in Forest staying up this season, no.
Yeah. Isaac, to you, what do you think about Vitor Pereira?
Well, he's not a bad manager, but there's no way. If I'm worried about a relegation fight, I'm not getting rid of Sean Dyche. No chance. He's gone down once since he's been managing, so no way I'd get rid of him. He's kept Burnley up when they probably had no right to do so, and Everton as well at times. So yeah, I wouldn't be getting rid of Dyche.
And then, do you think Forest will survive relegation this year, or do you think they'll end up going down?
I think they'll stay up by the skin of their teeth. Yeah. Forest, yeah.
Yeah. And then Max, to you, Vitor Pereira, thoughts?
I agree with Isaac and the Dyche check. I think they have just massively shot themselves in the foot. I think they, I mean, it's more of a circus than Spurs is, and I think that's certainly saying something. But I think they've eliminated all chances they've got. They've got so much quality in that team, and it's just completely misused so often. I think with Leeds is a horrible place to go. They win so many games at home. I think West Ham, like they say, are picking up. I think there's just a few too many teams that are going to come into form where they won't. I think they'll join Burnley and Wolves in going down.
Wonderful. It's full time in Istanbul. Galatasaray 5, 10 man Juventus 2. Gents, what are your thoughts on it? Sam?
Yeah, it was, well, the first half, it was a really competitive game of football. But that second half, Galatasaray came, and I guess maybe those Turkish clubs have got a bit of a reputation creating an atmosphere. Maybe that just got to Juventus. You saw so many of those goals were just basic mistakes. They were bizarre to watch. So, yeah.
Fair enough. Isaac, your thoughts on the game?
Yeah, Juventus just giving away too many goals. That playing out from the back, I don't know. Yeah, 3 of those goals really just completely giving them away. And yeah, they had the game. You know, Koopmeiners scores that brace. Galatasaray went 1 up, let them back in the game immediately, and then Juventus have just completely thrown that away. I think that's a really tough to go and overturn that in Turin now. I think, yeah.
Max, where do you think this leaves Juventus now?
I think it leaves them high and dry. I think that was a batter, and Galatasaray were completely out for blood. They weren't happy with a 3-2 or a 4-2. They were going to finish this game off tonight. I mean, in the first half alone, they had 13 shots and like 9 in the second half. But I think Sam put it perfectly in the sense of there was the atmosphere. It was an absolute cauldron in that stadium, and I think Juventus sort of just went into their shell. I just can't see any coming back from that. No chance.
Yeah. Wonderful. And then we'll go back to the FA Cup now. Sam, what tie catches your eye?
I'm really looking forward to Wolves against Liverpool. Obviously, I mean, I don't know if you saw Wolves' game against Grimsby. It was hardly football, what they were playing on. But it's quite interesting seeing Wolves. They've put together I don't know if you can quite call it a cup run at this stage, but there's a competition they've won a couple of games in, which is more than you can say for how the season's gone. So I think it'd be quite interesting to see if they can do the impossible and maybe get a result against Liverpool.
Wonderful. And then away from the FA Cup and to League One now and to the Select Car Leasing Stadium for Reading versus Bolton Wanderers and Jake Pearce.
Well, hello to those of you in the studio and hello to the listeners at home or wherever you may be tonight. I'm here at the Select Car Leasing Stadium tonight for Reading, who face off Bolton in League One. It's a game at the top end of the table. Bolton currently sitting third in the league, just outside their automatic promotion playoff places, so they'll be up for it tonight, although they do have a 6-point gap, so unfortunately tonight will not be the night they make that jump into them auto places. Whereas Reading currently sits 7th in the table, game in hand on 6th place, and only 3 points behind, so they'll be up for it as well, hoping that they can make that game in hand advantage tonight count and get into them playoff positions come end of season. Team news is in, and there's been 3 changes for Reading tonight, with Hayden Roberts, Charlie Savage and Ryan Nyambe coming into the side for the Royals tonight, with Liam Richardson having to make changes with fixture congestion so far. Stephen Schumacher has also done the same for his Bolton Wanderers side, with him making 4 changes, with Josh Sheehan, Ibrahim Sissoko, Max Conway and Johnny Kenny coming into the fold tonight. So 4 changes to Stephen Schumacher. So 2 teams heavily rotated, and you can't blame them for fixed congestion, but I think it'll be an interesting game. It might take a while to get going, unfortunately for me, but I'm sure it'll be a good game, and once the 2 teams get playing the football that we've seen them play, I think we're in for a good game tonight. Thank you to those of you in the studio, and bye-bye.
Cool, back to the Champions League now, and we will run you fully through the lineups for this evening for each of our covered games. So first we will go to Max and Monaco PSG.
Yeah, so in goal for Monaco is Philip Cohn. Then it's a back 4 of Vanderson, Jordan Teze, who came in for Thilo Kehrer, Wout Faes, formerly of Leicester, and João Henrique. 2 holding midfielders are Dennis Zakaria, who is captain, and Aymain Kamara. There's Akalushe, Golovin, Aderinga and Balogun leading the lineup. For the visitors PSG, it is Savanoff in goal, a back 4 again of Nuno Mendes, Pacho. Marquinhos actually came in for Zabarani. It was 2 changes, not 1. That's my mistake. And Achraf Hakimi at right back. Vitinha, Neves and Zari Emery are a flat middle of the 3. I can imagine Vitinha will probably sit back more and then let Neves and Emery push forward. And then it's Kvaratskhelia, Bradley Bacola and Ousmane Dembele in the front 3.
Wonderful. And then to Dortmund and Talata, Felix.
Yeah, they've mirrored each other with the lineups. Dortmund have gone for Kobel in goal, no surprise there. I think he's actually played every minute of the season so far. They've gone Ben Sabiani, Anton and Reggiani as the back 3. They've actually got a lot of injuries at the back door. I think they're missing 4 centre-backs. So, yeah, it's a bit of a shoestring defence, but they've got Svensson, Nemecha, Bellingham and Ryerson in the midfield. Ryerson particularly key one to look out for. 13 assists so far. They've got Brandt and Bayern, that sort of attacking midfield position. And then, of course, the big man up front, Guirassy, the talisman. And on the opposite side, it's Karneshki in goal with Kosowonu, Jamitski and Said Kalazanak as the back 3. Then Zappacosta, Darun, Edison, Bernoski in the midfield. Pasalic, Zawalowski in attacking midfield, and the former West Ham striker Skamaka will be up top, also their leading goal scorer this season.
Cool. We'll stay with the Champions League. And Sam, Benfica, Real Madrid, team news, please.
Yeah, so for Benfica, in goal, you've got the hero that out last time out, Turbin, at left-back Dull, next to Nicolas Otamendi, Araujo accompanying him at centre-back. Right-back, you have Dedic. In central midfield, you have Orsones. Next to him, you have Barrio. On the right wing, you've got Prestani. In behind the striker, in that 10 position, you've got Silva. Left wing, you've got Shelja up. And up top, you've got Pavlidis. And then for Real Madrid, a team I know a lot more of the names for. In goal, you've got Thibaut Courtois. Right back, Trent Alexander-Arnold. Centre-back pairing of Anthony Rudiger and Dean Howson. Left back, Alvaro Correas. And in midfield, you've got Valverde, Tchouaméni and Camavinga. And as your forwards for that game, you've got Arda Güler, Vinicius Junior and, of course, Kylian Mbappe.
Wonderful, thank you, Sam. And now to the Championship, Bristol City, Wrexham. Isaac.
Yeah, just about to kick off, actually. Sort of looks like Bristol City have gone with a sort of back five, but expecting the wing-backs of Mark Sykes and Neto Borges to sort of join in with the midfield. That's got Sam Morsier and Adam Randall in the centre of midfield. George Tanner, Rob Dickey and Rob Atkinson are the sort of back three. And then, Tommy Horvath, Scott Twine and Emil Riss is up front with Rudek Vitek coming back for Bristol City as well a couple of weeks ago, obviously on loan from Manchester United. And then for Wrexham, obviously surprised to see Josh Windass be moved to the bench. He scored against Ipswich on Friday night. But it's Okonkwo in goal, Max Clayworth, Dominic Hyam, Callum Doyle at the back, Issa Kabore, Ben Sheath, Oliver Rathbones up front with Nathan Broadhead and Sam Smith. And the rest of the midfield is George Thomason and Lewis O'Brien.
Wonderful, thanks Isaac. And now to the National League South, Bath City versus Ebbsfleet United. Tiana Mawalu.
Hi there, Tiana at Solent Sport News. I'm here at Swerton Park for a 7:45 kickoff. This is a little preview. The Fleet face Bath City here this evening. This game was originally going to be the first game of 2026, but it was postponed. So Ebbsfleet United have earned 15 points so far this year, and they're fourth in the National League South with 53 points. The Romans will be keen not to drop into the relegation zone, as they are 20th in the National League as well. Ebbsfleet United have scored 12 goals in their last 5 matches, while Bath City have only scored 4. One to watch for Ebbsfleet United is Owen Windsor, a striker who joined the club late last year. He scored 6 goals in his last 10 games. And number 22, Ben Chapman, has made 26 appearances. He scored against AFC Taunton on Valentine's Day too. Ebbsfleet United last game was victorious on Valentine's Day against Taunton with a 4-0 win. This means they move up to fourth place on the table. The Stags were left shocked at half-time when they were down 3-0. And for Bath City, their last 3 games have been postponed, so they look to gain a few points today in today's game. Despite their 3-week layoff, they were unbeaten in their last 6 home National League South matches. See you guys soon for new updates.
Thanks, Tiana. The 7:45 games have just kicked off. No goals to report at the moment. So we will go back to the FA Cup talk. And one of the biggest ties in the quarterfinals is obviously Wrexham-Chelsea. Do you think there's a fairy tale story to be had there, Max?
A couple of years ago, you'd maybe say yes, but I think Chelsea are just a bit too good now. I'm really impressed with what Rosini's done with them so far. I thought some say sacking, some say releasement of the last manager. I thought was a massive mistake. But Rosini's come in. There's a bit more life to Chelsea now. They've been really impressive. They've won the last 5 in the league as well. I think they're certainly looking dominant. I think Wrexham, have had a good start. Certainly a better start than I thought they would have. Where I thought they'd be where Birmingham are, and Wrexham would be where. I thought they'd be swapped around, but I've been impressed with them, but I still think Chelsea will go there. It's sort of the most obvious Friday night kickoff ever. Stick it under the lights. The Wrexham atmosphere will be big, but in such a small stadium, it's hard to generate that sort of noise, especially with the 4th stand missing. I think Chelsea are going to go there and win it comfortably.
We have the first goal of the evening from the 7:45 kickoffs at Boundary Park. Oldham Athletic have taken the lead against Bristol Rovers in the first minute. Kane Drummond has scored for Oldham. And now we will head to the Raymac Stadium for Salisbury, Chippenham Town and Eric Hogg.
Yes, Rich! Right, guys, I am at the Raymond McHenhill Stadium in Salisbury, where Salisbury are taking on Chippenham Town today in the Wiltshire Derby. This is a rescheduled fixture between the two sides. They were meant to face each other in January, but it got called off due to a water logged pitch. the last time these two sides met was in November, and it finished in a 2-2 draw. So I'm hoping for something similar to that.
Thank you, Eric. We've also had an early goal at Bromley. They've taken the lead against Cheltenham Town. Also in League Two, Cambridge have taken the lead against Colchester. And also in the National League, Sutton United lead Woking 1-0. Gents, thoughts on the early games so far, the early goals in the game so far?
Yeah, Max. It's a good start for Cambridge. Sorry, it's not quite a derby, but they're close enough to potentially be considered one, especially with no other real teams around in that league. It's not been a bad season for Cambridge at all. They're second in the league. That keeps them at arm's length of Swindon, and then obviously Swindon are still 0-0. But it's a goal that will put them slightly closer to Bromley. They'll just want to be in that top two. They won't fancy any more kerfuffles up there. They'll be confident they can see this through. It's a dodgy one for Colchester. They're sat sort of mid-table. It's one that Cambridge would have been confident about winning.
Wonderful, thanks Max. We have an update from Leighton Hewlett at Stadium MK.
0-0 MK Dons versus Crawley, 2 minutes in. Early corner for the Dons as Hepburn Murphy puts the ball racing across the front of the 6-yard box. No one on the end to catch up with it. Crawley put out for a corner.
Isaac, obviously you're covering Bristol City, Wrexham for us tonight, but Bristol City's counterparts in Bristol Rovers struggling in League Two and already 1-0 down away at Oldham. Any update or thoughts on situation at Bristol Rovers?
It's obviously a massive struggle at the minute. Obviously won a couple of games in January, but again, sort of back to that. Yeah, the start of their games actually has been a real issue for them. Obviously, still 4 points clear of the drop, but it's just in that dangerous territory of if you continue to concede early goals, then yeah, I think you're definitely in a bit of danger of getting dragged into a bit of a relegation fight.
Wonderful. Thank you, lads. Any other updates we've got from games so far this evening or not? I see Aldershot Town have taken the lead away at Hewish Park at Yeovil Town in the National League. Anyone got any updates on that? Hold on first, we're about to go to Snow Stadium and James McLean.
Thank you, Marcus. Well, the game's only a few minutes old, but Tony Lee is really wanting this 13th goal of this season. Firstly, he's had a couple of chances. First, he picked up the ball in the centre of midfield, off his own back, before trying an audacious lob on Marcus Drewhurst from outside the box. That went nowhere. But then a few minutes later, he picked up a delicious cross from Brandon Hoonstrup, I believe, but failed to get his header on target. But nevertheless, Tottenham are so far having slightly the more chances and the better chances. Let's just wait for this attack to see if I'm right there. Tottenham are having slightly the better chances and the more chances, but so far it remains Tottenham 0, Hampton and Richmond 0.
Wonderful, thank you, James. Goals flying in everywhere, including also in the National League South, as Enfield Town have scored 2 inside 5 minutes against Horsham. Any updates from other of the games, lads? Barrow Howe trailing Harrogate Town as well in League Two.
It's a frustrating start for Ebbsfleet. They're pretty solid in that playoff race in National League South. They're 5 points in still, but it's not a game you want to be losing. You know, they're significantly higher in the table than Bath. Bath are down in 20th. So it's a massive opening 5 minutes for them. I think Bath are one of the stronger teams to be down there. You look at Hampton and Richmond Borough, who consistently are losing silly games. Chippenham Town, who are sort of, despite a couple of good results recently, are sort of staring relegation in the face. And one of the more surprising ones down there, they're currently drawing 0-0 at the minute away at Cheshire, is Eastbourne Borough in the playoffs last season. What would probably be classed as a shock loss to Maidstone in the semi-finals. And it's hard when you lose a manager who was that key to a squad, and he took a lot of the players with him, I know, but to go from where they were to down into 24th is a real shock.
Cool, and now we'll head to the Championship and the playoff race. Obviously, Bristol City and Wrexham both up there. Isaac, any information or thoughts on that, or what's happened in the game so far. Obviously, still 0-0 at Ashton Gate.
Bit of a slow start to the game. Sort of both teams trying to sort of, I think, flip over, with long balls in behind, with no real success at the minute. Obviously, both teams playing with a sort of big back three. Bristol City started with a lot of possession. Wrexham starting to control the ball a bit more, but Bristol City are pressing high. It's been an interesting game. Obviously, a lot of high stakes, like you say, about the playoffs there, and yeah, it's been a bit of a slow start to the game, but I think we're sort of getting into it a bit now.
Wonderful. Sam, any games that have caught your eye so far?
Yeah. Bromley beating Cheltenham. Obviously, Bromley, top of League Two, being terrific. Only their first year in League Two was last year, the year before Michael Cheek sent them up in the playoffs. And it was his first time ever getting to play league football last year. And I think Freddie Woodman is just doing a terrific job there to have a small club in Bromley who have never really been in the Football League up there, top of the league, and you've got to remember the top three go up, so they've got a real chance of being in League One next year.
I think it's a real shame for Michael Cheek as well, like you said there, Sam. 34 years old, and last year smashed up the League Two. You knock 5 or 6 years off his age, and there'll be sort of most Championship lower league teams.
He'd be making that Matty Longstaff move.
Yeah, a lot of the lower Championship teams would have been having a look at him.
Obviously, staying with League Two there. Second place, Cambridge, also winning 1-0. They're currently 4 points behind Bromley at the top of the League Two standings after 32 games. Where are we going to go now? About to get underway in the Champions League fixtures. Final thoughts ahead of Monaco PSG, Max?
Yeah, it's one I'm really looking forward to as the teams walk out now. It's such strong teams. Every time you watch PSG, you get excited. They are the type of teams that you watch football for. Pace, skill, directness. They're so fluid when they have the ball. They score so many goals. It's going to be a really hard one for Monaco to deal with. I think they're certainly not a bad side. They're solid at the back, but they just don't. I don't really see them having enough to be able to withstand this PSG attack this time. I know they've done it before already, but their league form hasn't been too good. They're 8th in the league and table. PSG not top, they are second. That's not really something that you tend to see. But PSG away from home so far this season have won 7 of their games, drawn 2 and won 3 of them. And I don't think it's one that either teams are going to preserve and maybe take it to the second leg. Certainly not Monaco. They know they're going to have to go to Paris with a couple of goals advantage.
Obviously, PSG head into this with their 3-1 loss to Rennes on Friday, which prompted Ousmane Dembele to publicly criticise the team's performances. What are your thoughts on this? Do you think players should be able to come out and publicly criticise?
I think it's hard. I think sometimes that's needed because it's the accountability that's needed. I think putting the blame on everyone else is never ideal, but I think if you're including yourself in it, I think with lesser teams it can ruin the dressing room. I think it can really shake up a season. But the one thing that I think PSG have always struggled with is it's always sort of known to be a club full of me's. It's been a club full of personalities and egos. But last year that seemed to completely change. That they finally got that elusive Champions League win that they've been waiting on for so many years. And I think that has probably changed the dynamic of the whole club, put real fire in the belly, because they're not going to want to lose that title.
We'll put the Champions League to a hold there, and we're going to head back to the Snows Stadium for AFC Tottenham versus Hampton and Richmond Borough, and James McLean.
Well, this game, thank you, Marcus, is really heating up now. It's only still in the 20 or so minutes. I might be very wrong there, but it's been that entertaining. Declan Rose was brought down right on the edge of the box. It's a straight red to me. Looked like a very last-man tackle from Edwino Vaz, but the referee decided to give it a yellow. And then the preceding free kick from Brandon Hudstrup flew over the bar, but very nearly sent Marcus Dewhurst diving for it. Dewhurst just collects the ball there. I have to say, Edwino Vaz was very lucky there not to receive a harsher caution than a yellow card. But he's still on the pitch, and it's back to Ryan Gosney in the Tottenham goal. So it's still Tottenham 0, Hampton and Richmond Borough 0.
Thank you, James. We have some goals to report from the National League. Gateshead are leading FC Halifax Town 1-0, and Woking have equalised at Sutton United. But there's big breaking news in the Champions League. at the Signal Iduna Park and Dortmund-Atalanta, Felix?
Yeah, well, it's actually been delayed, the game. It's kicking off at 15:15 now because of traffic. And ironically enough, it's the home team. Didn't anticipate the busyness of their own stadium. And they have not showed up on time. So the kickoff has been delayed. So I've got nothing to talk about for another 15 minutes. But yeah.
Cool, we will move to you, Sam. Benfica, Real Madrid, final thoughts, obviously, before it just kicks off.
Yeah, they're literally just about to kick off. I think Benfica won the coin toss, so they flipped sides. I think it's going to be a great game of football. Obviously, you've got one of the great characters of football in Jose Mourinho on the sideline conducting Benfica, and I really hope it will be as good a game as we had last time out between these two.
Wonderful. Another goal to report for you. Salford are currently 1-0 down against Newport County, and Barnet have scored against Swindon in League 2. Also, Port Vale are leading Stevenage and Lincoln are leading Northampton. Both those games are 1-0. Where to next? Cool. Anyone got any information? Has anything happens in the opening minute of the games, Max?
Well, no, my games are now kicking off. But something to note is Nuno Mendes is on a yellow card, so a yellow card does see him out of the reverse fixture. So I can imagine that Monaco are going to be attacking that PSG's left, their right-hand side a fair bit. I think they're going to be targeting that. PSG have taken kickoff by kicking it out towards the corner flag. I don't know if it was a shot, if it was poor, or if it was a ball out to Kvaratskhelia, who's playing on that right-hand side instead of the left this time, with Barcola playing across the left. Yeah, the kickoff taken by Kvaratskhelia, booted out, straight for a throw-in.
That's sort of become a theme of Monday football from kickoffs. Teams kick it out a long way from a throw-in. Isaac, what are your thoughts on that? Do you like it as a style of play for kickoff, or you more rather keep the ball and keep control of possession to start games?
Yeah, I mean, obviously it's becoming a big thing. Again, all these, set pieces and territory, and we're even seeing long throw-ins, sort of like the days of Rory Delap, sort of 15, 16 years ago. You see all the best teams. Arsenal, obviously, are great at sit top of the whole pyramid of English football, great at corners, and it's all becoming a big thing again of...
I've got a goal. Monaco have taken the
goal in the Monaco PSG game. Max.
Yeah, it's Balogun straight away. And I mean, we were just talking about if it's wise to kick the ball out straight away. That shows exactly why it's not. and Monaco, I mean, really well played. They got the ball down the left-hand side, and PSG was sort of a mess at the back. All the players in completely different areas, and that's the perfect start that Monaco needed. The ball out on the left-hand side. PSG were. They got possession back, and then Mendes just tried to spoon it across the pitch to Kvaratskhelia, intercepted in the middle of the park by Zakaria, and then the ball into the box. Balogun done really well again. It's Mendes, the second time he's been mentioned in this goal, was caught tracking the ball. Balogun managed to drop off brilliantly, and he was given an empty goal head at from 4 yards out, maybe. That's now his 9th goal of this season so far, with his 4th now in the Champions League.
Wonderful, thank you, Max. We got an early substitution at Leyton Orient, playing with Argyle. Declan Murphy.
Yeah. There's been an early
Cool, unfortunately, got technical difficulties there at the Bet-Right Stadium. Some more goals to report to you. National League leaders Rochdale are losing at home to Scunthorpe United, and Sutton United have taken the lead against Woking. Any updates from your games, gents? Obviously not with you, Felix, because of the late kickoff. But we'll go to Isaac. Any exciting thing happened in your game?
It's not been a thriller these first sort of 18.5 minutes. Really 50-50 possession. I think it's been bang on, pretty much 50% possession each. Again, yeah, sort of Bristol City looking for territory a little bit more, knocking up to Emil Rees up front, whereas sort of Wrexham's front three of Broadhead, Smith and Rathbone sort of trying to connect and link the play a bit more. So sort of differing styles we're seeing, but yeah, about the moment it's about as even as it can possibly get, I think.
And then to you, Sam.
For Benfica, Prestiani, I think took one of the worst shots I've ever seen. He caught it, and it's just started. Instead of going that way, It started going that way, and it's closer to the corner flag than it is the goal. And it's honestly, it's just an awful effort.
We have another goal update at Chesterfield. They are leading Gillingham 1-0. And we can go back to Leyton Orient to we can go to Stadium MK and Leyton Hewlett. We had an early chance there. Leyton.
Golden opportunity for the MK Dons comes. Ball gets played through the middle of the pitch. Open run. Lays it off wide. Slight loose touch and the keeper collects. 0-0 here.
Cool. Obviously, we're covering a vast range of football this evening, from Europe's elite competition in the Champions League to the lower echelons of English football and the National League South. Felix, I'll come to you on that one. What are your thoughts on the breadth of football that we're covering this evening?
I think there's a big variation in the quality, not just overall, but also on this panel.
I mean, I'm not even watching a game right now.
I'd still rather be in your position.
We've got Champions League, a little bit of League One, but you know, we all love football, no matter what level it is, and it's all entertaining, and it's nice to be a part of it. Although not yet. I'll get there eventually.
I'm sure. Hopefully the game.
I'll get there eventually.
Yeah, hopefully the game will be exciting there for you. Obviously, not exactly the Champions League standard for you, Isaac. Obviously, with the Championship at Ashton Gate, what are your thoughts on the breadth of football that we're covering this evening?
Yeah, obviously great. Like Felix said, we're all football fans of different teams and different standards. So yeah, I mean, I've sort of enjoyed the Championship action so far. It's actually been probably a lot more physical than Monaco PSG, with probably a little bit less quality actually, but. Yeah, no, I'm enjoying it, yeah.
Wonderful. And then before we come to Sam and Max, Fleetwood have taken the lead away at Crewe Alexandra. Stevenage have equalised at Port Vale, and that's all to report on goals at the moment. So, Sam, what are your thoughts on the breadth of football covering this evening?
The breadth of football, I mean, you've got a bit of everything, don't you? You've got people out watching National South games, and then, of course, in studio, you've got, I mean, the best of the best, the Champions League, the premier competition in club football. So it really is a wide range.
Then to you, Max.
Yeah, what I've been watching so far has been brilliant. A really good chance here for PSG. It was Bradley Bacola who got in down the left-hand side after a lovely slip ball from Fatinia, but Bacola just on an offside trap. PSG are coming forward again, but it's been intercepted. Monaco sort of standing their ground so far, not really letting anything through. They seem to be playing quite a high offside trap as well. I think Dembele, instead of being the vocal point of a striker, he's sort of dropping into a false nine, into a centre-forward role to potentially slip balls into his speedy wingers either side. But early on, despite being 1-0 down, PSG dominating possession.
Wonderful. Some more goal updates for us here. League One leaders, Cardiff City are 1-0 up against Wimbledon, and Peterborough have taken the lead away at Barnsley. Any more news from the Signal Iduna Park, Felix?
They're just going through their normal preparations, to be honest. But yeah, I mean, no, the game's not started yet, but yeah, I suppose I could chat a little bit about the teams domestically so far. They've Dortmund are second in the Bundesliga, and it's quite surprising. They're only 6 points off Bayern Munich, which I thought Bayern were honestly running away with it. But yeah, no. So they're piling the pressure on in the Bundesliga. Maybe you might think they might not back themselves in the Champions League, so they might tactically sort of sacrifice it. But I don't think they're going to catch Bayern. I don't think anyone's going to catch Bayern. They're out of the German Cup as well, so I think realistically this is their only chance to get anything. But Atalanta coming into this actually beat Juventus 3-0 to book their place in the semi-final of the Italian Cup. So they've got something else going for them as well. So I think neither team's obviously favourites overall. I can't imagine any of them are going to get far. But I'm sure they'll both be going for it. If not for the win, just for the money of being involved. So, yeah, no, I think it's going to be a good game.
Wonderful. Looking forward to it. We had some more goals in League One. Burton Albion have taken the lead at home to Rotherham. And Wycombe Wanderers are 1-0 up away at Exeter City. Gents, we've only managed to bring in a few pancake puns this evening, so can we try and up them, please? When and where you can. But we're going to go to Reading now and Jake Pearce.
Hello to you, Marcus in the studio. It's been a good game so far. I think it's safe to say it's been all Bolton so far. I mean, about 2 minutes in, and John Kenny had an opening chance. Easy, comfortable save for Reading keeper, but still, since then, there's Reading. That one's been cleared away, but Reading have really been under the cosh so far. Not really had many balls forward. It's been more going to Bolton so far with that John Kenny early chance, but nothing major to report as of now. Reading had a corner about 30 seconds ago, easily cleared from Bolton. I think both sides just trying to ease themselves in so far, but nothing major at the moment to report to you.
Thank you, Jake. We've had some early goal in the Championship at the Valley. Portsmouth are 1-0 up, and in League One, Stevenage have come from behind to lead Port Vale 2-1. We'll go for an update at Monaco PSG and Max.
Yeah, it's still pretty much all of the same. It's a lot of PSG there. They're creeping into the game more and more as it goes, but the ball's dropped here actually. It's another foul, this time on Dembele, and I said earlier, didn't I, that I can imagine a bit of a feisty game here, and every time Monaco have the chance to sort of get a little nick in on the PSG players, they're doing it, leaving one in on them early, trying to sort of halt that pace, trying to stop them running. But Dembele's again nearly tripped there, and he's just completely pushed over by Zakaria. The referee actually waves no foul. Dembele had completely got away, but I think it's one of them where if the referee doesn't get a hold of it early, there's going to be a fair few fouls in this one.
Wonderful. What's the situation in Benfica, Sam?
Well, Benfica actually came out quite hot for the first 3 or so minutes, but ever since then, Real Madrid have just kind of got their foot on the ball. They've started playing, and I mean, for the last 5 or so minutes, the game's just been in Benfica's half. Real Madrid did have a chance earlier. They took a shot, and goalkeeper and Ukraine international Turbin, who was the hero, of course, in the repeat of this fixture, actually spilled it, and he was very lucky there wasn't a runner coming up to follow up on his mistake. So still 0-0 here.
We'll come to you in a second, Isaac, but first to Bar City versus Ebbsfleet United and Tiana Mowalu.
Here at Solent Park, we're only 3 minutes in and Bar City are 1-0 up. It was Luke Ross, he found Matt Bowman at the edge of the box who got the goal in.
Thank you, Tiana. Isaac, to you, any update from Ashton Gate?
Yeah, really starting to grow into the game, both these teams now. Wrexham had a really good sort of 5-6 minute spell, controlling the ball, getting a lot of it, and having sort of a few chances. A weird one of Callum Doyle just sort of strolling up from the Wrexham centre half position and getting a header on goal that was a pretty comfortable save in the end for Vitek. But now Bristol City, they're sort of coming forward a bit more. Had a penalty shout a couple minutes ago. It was spread wide to Mark Sykes, who appealed for a handball against Dominic Hyam. Referee turned it down. I've definitely seen them given, but I think for me it probably wasn't quite a pen.
Cool. Looking forward to seeing what happens in the rest of those games. And now to the National League South and the Stowe Stadium and James McLean.
Well, it's a goal for the visitors, Hampton and Richmond. I have to say it was a great team move. The final bits of the move came courtesy of number 11 Taylor Clark, who slipped the ball through to Rhys Griggo-Cox, Hampton's second top goal scorer this season. He scored his 5th of the season. He not toe-punted it, he slotted it very calmly to Ryan Gosney's right. Ryan Gosney did the best he could to try and save that, but he wasn't getting anywhere near it. It was in the corner as can be, and it's Hampton and Richmond Borough 1, AFC Tottenham 0.
Thank you, James. Updates from the National League. Sutton United have taken the lead against Woking. They lead 2-1, and Yeovil Town have equalised at home to Aldershot. Anything else happen in your game, Max?
Well, PSG have just had the best chance of the game. Nuno Mendes coming in from the left-back position to sort of attack midfield and roll. And I think this is the beautiful thing about this PSG team. Kvaratskhelia has gone from a right wing to a left wing to the centre forward position now. He's received the ball really, really well and took the ball past Teze, and then Aditoka's left-footed shot. Valfair's done really well to get across, just block the ball, tip it over the bar. PSG have got a corner, but since Monaco have had their goal, they've barely had the ball in the PSG half.
And then to you, Felix, obviously Dortmund finished 17th in the league phase, with Atalanta finishing 15th in the league phase. So as this game is just about to kick off, this should be a close and tight affair, hopefully.
Yeah, I mean, the teams both finished in the playoffs last season as well, actually. They both narrowly missed out on the automatic spots. Dortmund obviously got to the quarter-final last year where Atalanta actually fell short in this round when they played Club Brugge. I imagine they're really sort of hoping to do one better because they'd like to think Atalanta would probably beat them. So, yeah, no, I think it's going to be close, but I think Dortmund will probably edge this just about.
Cool. Now we're going to head to Leyton Orient. Declan Murphy.
0-0 here at the BetRight Stadium between Leyton Orient and Plymouth Argyle. The best of the two teams' chances has come from Alex Mitchell. He's been involved in 2 headers. One was over the bar and the other was saved out for a corner. An early substitution has been made for Plymouth as the injured Herbie Kane has come off for Brendan Weiradu. And the other thing to report on is Theo Archibald has been given a yellow card. Still 0-0 here at the BetRight Stadium between Leyton Orient and Plymouth.
Cool, back to the Champions League. I know it's early stages in the knockout phase, but Max, any predictions? Who do you think's going to come out victorious this year?
I think all the pressure's on Arsenal. Yeah. I think flawless in the group stage, superb in the league, in the Premier League, still in both cups as well. I think there's so much pressure on Mikel Arteta's shoulders to win something. But saying that, PSG looking really good. There's a really good chance it's taken over by Neves. But yeah, I think going back to that, I think there's so much pressure on Arsenal. I think they need to at least win 2 things this year, whether that be the Carabao Cup and the Prem, whether it be the FA Cup and the Champions League. But this is the one they'll want. They'll want this in the Premier League, and I think they're looking so good for both. It'll be really interesting to see who they come through and get in the next round as well.
Yeah, cool. Before we go to Felix, we're going to go back to Bar City versus Ebbsfleet and Tiana Mawalu.
Here at Spurs Park, in the 22nd minute, Owen Windsor had a try at goal, but unfortunately it went over the crossbar.
Thank you, Tiana. Just some goal updates in League 2. Cheltenham have equalised against Bromley and Colchester have also equalised against Cambridge. Now to you, Felix, early predictions for the winning of the Champions League this year?
I'm going to go with Barcelona. I think, which I don't think they're quite as obviously dominant. But Isaac doesn't seem too impressed with that answer. But I just think, you know, the Spanish teams, they've always just got that about them. They always seem to show up for European competitions. Barcelona, I don't know why. I've just got a gut feeling that I think they're going to do it this year.
Cool. Goal for Ebbsfleet, 1-1. We'll head back to Tiana now.
We're 26 minutes in at Bath City. It's 1-1. There was a goal for Ebbsfleet by Tom Dallison, number 6. He had 2 chances. The first one was saved, and he went back in and got the goal.
Thanks, Tiana. Back to the Champions League. You clearly were not happy with Felix's shout there, Isaac. Who do you think will? Who's your pick for the to win the Champions League this year?
I think it's going to be an English team. See how well they performed.
Goal! Oh. Borussia Dortmund already.
Hold up, Isaac. We will go to Felix there. Goal at Signal Iduna Park.
Yeah, I think you could probably guess who it is. It's Guirassy. He scored a header already. It was whipped in from the right wing. Yeah, straight away. His first attack, straight down the right wing. Yeah, very predictable. That will be his 21st goal of the campaign then. And yeah, Dortmund starting exactly how they need to. I think Ryerson with the assist, we mentioned before, it's always Ryerson crossing it to Guirassy, and it's happened again. You would have thought Atalanta would have prepared for that. Clearly not. They're already 1-0 down.
Rude interruption there, Felix, but don't worry about it. There's been an early substitution at Totton, so we'll head to James McLean now.
Well, the Totton fans have just gone from being very gloomy to very happy. Brandon Holmstrom was just forced off by an early change. He was getting treatment just past Ryan Gosney. He came off for number 6, Dan O'Connor, and Tottenham's fans didn't last very long in terms of their miserableness, let's say, as Ashley Clark, their second top goal scorer this season, as Grigor Coxford for Hampton, has just done a lovely solo effort from the left side of the box from where I am, fired it hard into the top right corner. Marcus Drewhurst sent to the floor, he had no chance, and Tottenham fans sent into raptures as it's AFC Tottenham 1, Hampton and Richmond Borough 1.
Thank you, James. Goals flying in everywhere in the Champions League, the Championship, all the leagues in England. To you, Max, an update.
Yeah, and it's 2-0 to Monaco, and it's that man again, Balogun. It's his 10th in all competitions now, 5th in the Champions League. And it's so B-Tech. The ball just broke in the middle of the park for Monaco. It's a lovely ball through. He was being chased by Marquinhos, who's just come back into the side, but the Brazilian could not get near him. Such good striker play. Sort of just managed to shove him off. Got sort of 10 to 12 yards outside from the goal and just slipped it past the keeper. And it gave 7-Up absolutely no chance. Completely wrong-footed him. And considering PSG have been in this game and dominated, it's now 2-0, and I think this is really something that PSG miss. They miss a Balogun, they miss a Gavesi that Dortmund have got. Having 3 of the same sort of players is maybe hindering them there.
And then we've got a penalty at Portsmouth. We'll bring you an update from the Valley. Sorry, Portsmouth versus Charlton penalty. We'll bring you an update from the Valley when we've got it. Goal at Ashton Gate, Isaac.
Yeah, Wrexham have taken, I think it's fair to say, a deserved lead here. Lovely finish from Oliver Rathbone, sort of on the turn. It was a cross from Callum Doyle that took a deflection off George Tanner. Sort of fell to him on the half volley. He just swept it in first time, left-footed, high into the goal. Not really much chance for VTech, nothing he could really do. And yeah, Wrexham have taken, I think, probably fair to say, a deserved lead at Ashton Gate.
Also in the Championship, back to Portsmouth. They converted that penalty, so they now lead 2-0. And then some goal updates or general updates in the National League. Rochdale have equalised at home to Scunthorpe, and Sutton United are down to 10 men against Woking. Sam, any chances in your game so far?
Yes, I can't believe that Vinicius Junior hasn't scored. He had a great chance about the middle of the box, caught it, almost turned it around, was on one knee almost, and he had the keeper well beat, but it glides just past the outside of the post, so it's not to be still 0-0 here.
Wonderful. Update from you, Max?
Yeah, well, PSG is straight back in it. They have got a penalty. Wout Faes looking to control the ball, and it goes under his foot. It's really bad from the former Leicester man. Kvaratskhelia came away with it, and then he had a lovely little touch that he got inside the box. Wout Faes committing to try and block the ball as Kvaratskhelia, he thought he was going to a shot, and he just takes him down. He's gone. The referee's gone for a yellow. I can imagine he might go upstairs to VAR because it was a last man goal scoring opportunity. I think Wout Faes can count himself lucky for not being sent off here.
We will stay with you, Max. Keep providing us updates with that. As you say, yeah, yellow card at the moment.
Yeah, it's also gone a bit quiet. There's a lot of players hurdling around the ball and the referee. I think I don't know if Monaco potentially delaying it. Vitinha's picked up the ball. He's put it down on the spot. He's quite interestingly for PSG, he scored 6 goals so far this season, but 5 of them have been in the Champions League. He started all of the games in the Champions League so far, and it's a perfect chance now for him to get his side back within one. Only 22 minutes in now, and a fair bit of action, and PSG don't deserve to be 2-0 down at all. So it's definitely a goal that will be justified. No red card. The referees have taken all the players outside of the box, which delays Vitinha a little bit more. The Monaco goalkeeper, Cone, just jumping up and down on his line. The referee now blows his whistle, points to the goal. It's a quick run up, and it's saved. It's saved by the Monaco goalkeeper, and things just keep getting bad for worse to PSG. Vitinha, head in his hands, can't really understand what he's done. Well, all the Monaco players go round the goalkeeper. It's a lovely save from Cone. It's a pretty poor penalty from Vitinha. Perfect height from the goalkeeper. Not too much space, and it's an absolute nightmare start for PSG.
As you say, from bad to worse for PSG. Hopefully their pancakes will stop being stuck on the ceiling. It's Ashton Gate and you, Isaac, been a goal. Sorry, hold there. VT to Jago Everson. Jago Everson at Ashton Gate. We got 2 reports.
Here at Ashton Gate, it's Oliver Rathbone with the goal. 1-0 in the 35th minute.
Wonderful, thank you. Jago, messing this up. Any update from you at Dortmund, Felix?
There hasn't been a goal since you last came to me, but it has been pretty dominant from Dortmund. They, look very much in control of this game. Atalanta a bit shell-shocked, I reckon, after that start. Defending was really sloppy. I'm no tactical genius, but when you go into the game, you look at the man with the most assists and the man with the most goals, you can put 2 and 2 together, and they failed to mark either of them, and that's why they're already 1-0 down. I think it's time for Dortmund to pile the pressure on.
Wonderful. Then staying with the Champions League, you were saying about your prediction for the winner of the Champions League, Isaac. We'll go back to that.
Yeah. I mean, like I say, you just see how the English teams have performed in that. Sort of Arsenal, Man City, and Chelsea hammered Barcelona at Stamford Bridge. It wasn't even a close game. And look at Chelsea; they're outside the top 4 in the Premier League. So yeah, I think you look at how the English teams have performed. Even Spurs look decent in Europe. But then I'd say Bayern Munich and PSG as well are stronger than Barcelona for me, I think. Yeah.
Wonderful. We're going to head to League 2 and Stadium MK. Leighton Hewlett.
Still at Stadium MK, we have a break and play as Marvin Ektepeter is down on the floor receiving treatment. The best of the best chances coming from Milton Keynes Dons as the ball played. The best chance, ball played into the back of the box, headed down, free header, hit the post, dribbled across the line. 0-0 here still.
Thank you, Leighton. Lads, we've been set a pancake challenge, 10 pancake puns before half time.
Oh.
Do you think we're able to do it?
Who's half time? My half time, right? Give us 35 minutes.
Yeah, we'll go half time in all the other games, so we've got about 20 minutes, but we'll come to you for your Champions League winner predictions, Sam.
I think it feels like it might be a weird year. I don't really trust. I mean, you look at the best team in England, it's Arsenal. I don't trust them. I don't trust any of the Spanish teams. The Germans are just good at making cars, so I wouldn't fancy Bayern Munich. I think it's going to be someone weird. I think it might be the manager, Liam Rosenior with Chelsea. I think it might be the slot machine with Liverpool. I think something funky's in the air.
Oh, that's funny. Have we got any more goals flying in? Yep, we have Barnsley have equalised at Peterborough. Doncaster have taken the lead against Huddersfield. Anything else? Perfect. We will go head now back to the Snow Stadium for a live update with James McLean.
Well, Tottenham have been forced into another first half sub, it seems. There didn't seem to be any injury problems with this one, but it's been number 28, Jacob Towns, who picked up the first yellow of this evening. He's been taken off for number 11, Malachi Linton, and just seconds later, in fact, Linton had a shot up this end against Marcus Drewhurst, couldn't quite get it out of his feet, and it didn't go anywhere in Tottenham's favour. It's Hampton lining up for a free kick here. But at the moment, it's still AFC Tottenham 1, Hampton and Richmond Borough 1.
Perfect. Thank you, James. We got substitution at Monaco. Who's it for? Max, I presume PSG. They've probably gone a bit flat after conceding 2 early goals.
Yeah, you're right. It is for PSG, and it's a bit of a confusing one that Enrique has done there. He's brought off Ousmane Dembele, who's his top scorer this season, for Desiree Doué, but I can't really work it out. Dembele was walking a little bit sheepishly, but he's not gone down the tunnel. He stayed on the bench, so not going for treatment. Maybe slightly rules out an injury unless it was a little knock. But it's now confused me even more with this front three that PSG have, because there's no target man. There's no player there to hold up possession. It's so fluid in the sense of it could be a nightmare to defend. But when you're marking 3 of the same player, it can potentially all roll into one. So it's going to be really interesting to see where PSG go from here. I mean, if they were looking for a striker, they could have potentially brought on Ramos to sturdy it up a little bit. But yeah, I'm not really sure where they go from there, whether it was tactical or not.
Yeah, cool. And then obviously Pancake Day, back to pancakes, lads. Obviously leads into Lent and Easter. Is there anything that you lads are giving up for Lent this year? Maybe a topping like sugar or Nutella or something of the like? We'll go to Sam first on that one.
No, I'm gonna keep on as I am. I'm gonna be fat. I'm gonna drink a lot. I'm still gonna smoke, and I'm gonna enjoy life.
Nice, wonderful. That's the best way to go about things. Cool. We're gonna head to MK Dons for an earlier substitution at Leighton Hewlett.
0-0 still. Dons have been forced into an early sub as Marvin Ekpetika has gone off and Dan Crowley has come on due to an injury, standing tackle, and he's just pulled up during the challenge. Still 0-0 here.
The goal, yeah.
Thank you, Leighton. Isaac, we will come to you in a second, but goal at Monaco. Max?
Well, the subs work straight away. It's that man, Desiree Doué, and that is the best goal of the game so far. A quick turn of possession for PSG. They won the ball quickly on the left-hand side with Nuno Mendes, and the ball broke for Desiree Doué. Had absolutely no one in that Monaco defence around him. And when he picked up the ball, he took one turn. It was a bit of a snapshot across goal, but it's come off the post and it's gone in. It's a beautiful finish from the youngster, and that's put PSG right back in it.
Wonderful, thank you, Max. Back to you, Isaac. Anything you're giving up for Lent? Maybe some syrup or bacon or something like that?
Or watching Bristol City Wrexham.
I think.
Yeah.
I think I might just copy and paste Sam's answer.
Add life to your years, not years to your life, people. Yeah. Live it to the fullest.
Cool. We will head to the Raymac now. Eric Coggs watching Salisbury versus Chippenham Town.
Yeah, it's still 0-0 here at the Raymond McEnhill Stadium. There's been a few chances for both sides really, but more coming from the Salisbury end. Salisbury have been very good on the attack with number 22, which is Coppin. He put in a ball earlier, which just missed number I can't see the number right now. Sorry, number 14, which is Lee Hedges. It just missed him, and he almost put it in the net. But for Chippenham Town, they had two chances with Tom Owen Evans on the other end. Both saved comfortably though by William Hughes, keeper. But yeah, it's still 0-0 here at the stadium. Back over to you in the studio.
Perfect, thank you, Eric. Obviously, VAR, big talking points. I presume the goal went to VAR, Max?
Yeah, it did, and it was the goal scorer, Desiree Doué, that was up for contention. He, as the right back Vanderson looked to come forward with the ball, it was a slight trip, which is what made PSG win possession and turn around for the goal. Referee didn't deem it enough. It didn't really look a lot, to be fair. It was one of them that I think in the Premier League it probably gets overturned, but with non-English refs sort of having a bit more about them to make a decision, I think they stood with his original decision and a goal was given.
Wonderful. We've got an update at Leyton Orient, Plymouth Argyle. Declan Murphy.
Still 0-0 here at the Bet-Right Stadium between Leyton Orient and Plymouth Argyle. Plymouth had two good chances from Ronan Curtis, a good chance from Favour Formley for the home side. His low-driven shot was saved by Connor Hazard. The ball was in the back of the net by the visitors, but Toby Oluwayemi was down and the ball was not given, and it looked like that he might be coming off, but he's fine now. The ball is back in play. It's still 0-0 here at the Bet-Right Stadium.
Thank you, Declan. And from League One to the National League South, and Max Cochrane at the Meadowbank Stadium.
Hello, it is 0-0 here at Meadowbank. It's been quite a stop-start game so far. Dorking have looked the more promising team with a few shots testing Nasta in the Hornchurch net. They've also been testing him from their corners, putting it right under the crossbar, which he has so far done well with. Hornchurch themselves are countering quite a bit so far. They've not had too much luck so far, but the pace of Junior Marias, Miles Weston and Angelo Blanta are not really causing Dorking any trouble so far. It is still 0-0 here.
Perfect, thank you, Max. Felix, Pancakes, anything you're giving up for Lent?
Well, Wolverhampton Wanderers are giving up Premier League football, so I might join them. I might be doing that all year. But no, I mean, in all seriousness, no. I'm definitely not giving up anything. Again, I sort of agree with Sam's sentiment. Yeah.
Max, do you take the same approach?
Well, I think for the interest of my health, I'm going to give up speaking to Sam. He seems far too dangerous to be around.
He does indeed. We have some half-time scores in League One. Barnsley 1, Peterborough 1, Bradford 0, Stockport County 0, Doncaster 1, Huddersfield 0, Lincoln 1, Northampton 0. Also half-time in the Championship. Isaac.
Yeah, Wrexham took a deserved 1-0 lead into the break. I think they've been the better side. Bristol City looked low on ideas, to be honest. A lot of long ball, and Wrexham looking like the better footballing side as well. Obviously, we could see sort of Jason Knight come on for Bristol City, who could change that, and they might look to play a bit more. When they've got it down on the floor, Bristol City have looked all right, but it's been a lot of long ball up to Emil Rees looking for set pieces, and yeah, you've got to say Wrexham have deserved the lead that they've taken into half-time.
Wonderful. And then back to League One. Cardiff Wimbledon is 1-1 at half-time. Exeter are trailing Wycombe Wanderers 1-0, also half-time there. In League Two, Barrow trailing Harrogate Town. Bromley Cheltenham is 1-1, and so is Cambridge United versus Colchester United. Chesterfield are also 1-0 up at the break at home to Gillingham, alongside Oldham and Newport leading Bristol Rovers and Salford respectively. And we will head for a half-time update. Sorry, not half-time yet. We'll head for an update at Reading Bolton Wanderers. Jake Pearce.
Hello to you, Marcus, and you've joined me at just the right time because we've just had a goal for the home side, Reading, and who else was it going to be apart from that man, Jack Marriott, getting his 16th goal of the season. It's a great work. I think it's safe to say that Bolton had a good few chances in the last few minutes, but the biggest chance they had was Sam Dolby going wide from the free kick. But since Reading went forward, great, well-worked move, and in the end, it was Jack Marriott to convert on the right-hand side, running down right into the box, a cross goal, high, keeper, no chance of saving for Jack Bonham. And it is just a great, well-worked goal. Reading take the lead 1-0 in this really important fixture.
Thank you, Jake. Half-times in the National League. Halifax are trailing to Gateshead. Rochdale versus Scunthorpe United and Yeovil versus Aldershot are both 1-1. And we will head to the Stows Stadium for a half-time update with James McLean.
Half-time here at the Snow Stadium is AFC Tottenham 1, Hampton and Richmond Borough 1, and both goals from each team came from each team's second top goal scorer this season. It was Rhys Grigo Cox for Hampton and Richmond first. He scored his 5th goal of the season, slipped through with a lovely ball from Taylor Clark. He finished as far in the right-hand corner as can be that I've seen. Ryan Gosney did his best but had no chance. Then later in the game, it was Ashley Clark's turn for Tottenham. He came in to Marcus Dewhurst's right on his own, cut in, fired hard into the top right corner. Dewhurst on the floor, and it's at half-time at the Snow Stadium in the National League South. AFC Tottenham 1, Hampton Richmond Borough 1.
Perfect, thank you, James. Big chance at the Signal Iduna Park, Felix.
Yeah, it was put on a plate for Pasalic. I don't know how he's not been able to put it in. Atalanta have really sort of turned the momentum round. One of Dortmund's centre-halves, I think it was Reggiani, got booked. They've been, piling on the pressure now, trying to get that goal back. It was great work from the captain, Darude, to drive it forwards. He's one of those ones who squares it straight across the box, and I'm really not sure how Pasalic hasn't put it away. But still 1-0 for now, but Atalanta coming back.
Wonderful, thank you, Felix. We're going to head to the Raymac now, and Eric Hogg.
I hope you're warmer than me in the studio. It's still 0-0 here at the Raymac Stadium. Not really much else to report back from it since it was brought back. It is. I've got my Terry's coverage. Going to enjoy it. It's been a close game so far. Both teams really having chances either side, but I'd say Salisbury definitely better on the choices. So the Josh Hedges just couldn't quite get right in. That's it. I'm enjoying my very strong orange all the time. Back to you.
Thank you, Eric. Now, our reporter Declan Murphy spoke to an American Leyton Orient fan on how he came about supporting his team.
Hello, I'm Declan Murphy for Solent Sports News, and I'm joined from across the Atlantic by Luke from the Leyton Orient Way. So, ahead of tomorrow's big clash at Brisbane Road, how did you start covering the O's before we get into, obviously, tomorrow's game?
Yeah, so I got into the O's when I was living in East London, actually. I was studying abroad there for a short period of time in 2023, and I've always loved English football, and I really wanted to experience like a genuine experience of English football. So I saw that Leyton Orient was right around the corner from where I was staying in Mile End, just two stations down on the tube stop. And yeah, that's how I fell in love with Leyton Orient. I went to 8 matches while I was there, and it's just been Leyton Orient since then. I made my fan page right when I got home to tell more Americans about this amazing club.
Is it tough to watch games, obviously being in America of the time zone, and obviously with the games being on, obviously night matches as well? Does it make it very difficult for you?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, so tomorrow night, obviously against Plymouth, it's a night game, which is actually it works out better for me because it's easier with the time change to watch it in the afternoon instead of usually if it's a 9 a.m. or if it's a 3 p.m. kickoff, that's 9 a.m. for me, or if it's a 12:30 kickoff, that's 6:30 a.m., which is pretty early. But I do like these Tuesday night matches, and yeah, I always like watching through the Orient Live broadcast, which is their club provided broadcast, which it's a nice experience to watch.
In terms of big news for the club, I've seen online that you've appointed, is it Popaloose, who did the Spurs and the Las Vegas Sphere to build a new stadium? What's your thoughts on that? Like, obviously, they're trying to, is it a new green stadium they're trying to build for 2031?
Yeah, for sure. I think that's the goal is to get it up in the next, 5, 6 years. I think there's been a lot of discussion around where the site is actually going to be, and I mean, Brisbane Road is such an iconic venue. It's hard to imagine the club not playing there one day. But if you want to grow the club, if you want to be a championship club one day, you need to have more than a 10,000 seater stadium. So it makes sense. And there are a lot of mixed opinions in the fan base. Like a lot of people don't want it to be an Americanized stadium that, shares space with a lot of other events and maybe other sports. And I mean, there's even been conversation about American football being played in the stadium too. And some people don't like that. I mean, I have mixed thoughts about it too because I love Brisbane Road right now, but I think for the growth of the club in the long term, it's the right goal. And yeah, I feel good about the outlook of that.
So obviously you've got a majority shareholder from the USA, and obviously you've mentioned it about the NFL. What is it like for you, obviously being in the USA? Does that help you connect more with the club?
It does a little bit. It seems like there's always been a little bit of ownership in America with Leyton Orient, which is one easy way that I've always stayed connected to it. One of the ex-owner, Nigel Travis, his son is actually going to school in America right now and grew up in America. So I've gotten to meet him a couple times, and every match day, we send each other texts about the game, and it's fun to know that there are some fellow Americans on my side. It's not just me.
Yeah, so obviously for tomorrow, being a Southampton uni, you've got ex-Southampton player Don Ballard, who's your top goal scorer this year. What's he going to be like, obviously, for Plymouth? Is he going to be a player to watch out for?
Oh, he's absolutely going to be a player to watch out for. I mean, he's been absolutely electric all season. I feel like he gets better every game. We had a long period of games over the holidays, as a lot of teams did for the festive features, but since then we've had 10 days off since our last game. So I feel like this might be one of those matches where you see Don Ballard score not just one goal, but two or three. So hopefully we're going to be singing Ballard again, ole ole tomorrow.
And obviously Plymouth beat Orient in the cup back in December. It was a last-minute goal. They're coming off a 4-0 win at the weekend, so they have momentum. How do you think that'll help them, and how do you think you're going to be able to stop them going into this game?
Yeah, I mean, Plymouth they've looked good. I mean, they're definitely not a bad team. I do have some concerns about how they can expose us on the set piece, and I was watching their highlights against Blackpool, and obviously they're away from home. They beat them 4-0, as you said, and they're playing Orient away from home, and I fear that they could, put a few past us, but I'm also feeling a little good about our reinforcements that we've brought in over January. We got some new goalkeepers. We have a permanent goalkeeper for the first time in a long time, actually, and we've gotten some good defensive replacements as well with Will Forrester, and also James Morris is a great defensive man. So I think we're going to be able to stop them as long as we're tight at the back, which has been our one loose end, I would say, or one of our loose ends this season. But I definitely have faith in us tomorrow, and I'd like to say that we're going to hopefully get that win.
Is there any other players that we should be looking out for tomorrow?
So one of our new signings that we made over January, Favor Fawunmi, I think he came in from Stoke City. He's a winger. He's 19 years old. He's very pacey. He's very exciting to watch. So I'm hoping that he can maybe expose a left or a right back tomorrow and maybe get himself on the score sheet.
And finally, can we get a score prediction for you for tomorrow's game?
Score prediction, that's a good question. I never like going against the O's, so I'm going to say they're going to win. I'm going to say it's going to be a 2-1. It's going to be a 2-1 tomorrow. Dom Ballard 1 goal. And then I'll leave the other goal up in the air. We'll see what happens.
Well, thanks for joining me, Luke. We'll be obviously covering this game on our live later on. So yeah, thank you, Luke.
Of course. Thank you, Declan.
Perfect. Thank you, Declan. We're going to go to Max and Monaco PSG.
Yeah, and we are all square yet again. A bit messy at the back. They could there and again here, PSG. They nearly flipped the game on their head, but they couldn't this time. Maybe the bottom side of the dough was just a bit too raw, but there you are.
There we go.
PSG have made it 2-2. It's Achraf Hakimi from right back, and I think that's just the beautiful thing of this PSG team. Goals come from absolutely everywhere. That's now 19 players in a 28-man squad that have scored for PSG so far this season, and it was a really smooth attack from PSG coming through, 20 passes as they came through, and then the shot was well saved. The ball fell to Hakimi. There was nothing that the keeper or the Monaco defence could have really done about it. They didn't really pick him up, but the slide home sent the. I know France isn't too big on away end, but it sent the PSG fans behind that goal crazy.
Wonderful. From the Champions League to the National League South. From Monaco to Bath City, we're going to Tiana Mwalu.
At Bath City, it's 1-0 for Bath City and Ebbsfleet United.
Wonderful, thank you, Tiana. We were supposed to have a reporter this evening in the National League game at the VBS Community Stadium between Sutton United and Woking, but unfortunately Ashley Whiteway is ill, so hasn't been able to make it. But what a cracking game so far. Sutton United lead Woking 2-1 at half-time, albeit were reduced to 10 men. Both teams' previous games were postponed on Saturday, and they headed into this one off the back of differing runs, with Sutton scoring 4 goals in last 5 compared to Woking's 8. We will head to Felix now. Any updates? Dortmund versus Atalanta.
Yeah, it's suddenly become a much more interesting game. I mean, end-to-end stuff. Atalanta have had chances, Dortmund have had chances. Both teams sort of smelling the blood here, ironically, because they're both sort of bleeding it, because both of them just can't seem to cope. Yeah, no, much more interesting. The game's really opened up now. Atalanta are really pushing for that equaliser now, and Dortmund are hitting straight back at them. So I think there's more goals to come.
Wonderful. And then to you, Sam?
Yeah, we're just into injury time now, and Real Madrid, if they go into half-time at 0-0 as it is now, they will be kicking themselves. 3 big chances all right before half-time. Mbappe with 2 of them and Vinicius Jr. with 1. Gula also had a good chance, but none of them managed to reach the back of the net. Benfica blocking, Turbin making saves. It's just not quite fell for Real Madrid, but they are knocking on that door.
Max, any updates from you? Have PSG flipped the game on its head? Do you think they'll go and win it from now? Obviously, a long way to go.
Well, it's weird. The first goal for PSG, ironically considering they've grabbed a second, sort of woke Monaco up a little bit. They found 3 or 4 attempts that they hadn't found in between the first goal and now. But PSG, again, I think when you do try and come at PSG a little bit more, that just makes you more vulnerable to the speed they've got in their attack. There's no chance this game's end 2-2. PSG have now got themselves a free kick sort of on the edge of the D. There's 4 or 5 players around it. Kvaratskhelia, since they found that first goal, has just completely come into his own. He's such a talented player, and it's really showing. But PSG with one final chance to make it 3-2 before half-time.
Wonderful. Any news from your game? I know it's half-time. Isaac, any potential looking at substitutions or anything at the moment?
Just kicked off the second half, actually. Bristol City have chucked on 3. Jason Knight, Sinclair Armstrong and the new signing Delano Bergzog, who's only made 2 appearances so far, sort of replaced Anis Mehmeti when he went to Ipswich. Immediately, within 1 minute, Bristol City have sort of created something which they failed to do in the first half with a shot from the edge of the box, which was well saved, well pushed out from Okonkwo, which then dropped to Sinclair Armstrong. And again, a good stop at his near post from Okonkwo, forcing a corner. But yeah, immediately, bit of a different look to Bristol City's outfit here.
Wonderful. Some games kicking off for the second half around the grounds. No new score updates yet, but we have a goal.
It's a substitute, Sinclair Armstrong. I said he was making a difference immediately. This is a great finish, tight angle. The ball in behind wasn't great from Adam Randall. It was sort of a bit far in front, but he just hit it so well. It's flown into the top corner for an equaliser at Ashton Gate. They look up for it immediately. 2 minutes into the second half, immediately look better, Bristol City here.
Wonderful, thank you, Isaac. Wonderful. Cool, we will go for an update at Stadium MK. Leighton Hewlett.
Half-time here at Stadium MK, still 0-0. Not really an eventful first half. Dons have looked the better team, look like they're about to score more. Crawley have had a few efforts of their own. Fans are trying their hardest to get behind the backs of each players. Referee's been getting a little bit of stick in the middle for certain fouls. There's a foul just before half-time as the whistle blew that wasn't given. Currently still 0-0 here at Stadium MK.
Thank you. Later, we will now head to Tiana Moalu at Bar City versus Ebbsfleet. Sorry, we won't head there. It's half-time in the Champions League games that kicked off on time. Sam?
Yeah, well, as I said, Real Madrid really had a number of good chances right before the end of that half. And up until it ended up going to 94 minutes, despite only being being added on, they were just pushing and pushing. But no goal went in for them. So Benfica will count themselves lucky that they still are in this tie, and it's still 0-0.
Wonderful. Max?
Yeah, it's been a really confusing one-to-one pick. PSG have had 77% possession, so much of the ball, but they're not really doing anything with it. It's 1.39 expected goals for the visitors to Monaco's 1.17. 11 shots for PSG to Monaco's 6, but only 5 of them for PSG on target. And only one big chance created. And now that obviously shows the quality of the first goal from Desiree Doué, but yeah, they're not really doing too much with the ball. It's really hard. They've got 3 different players up there, but they're also one-dimensional with a sense they've all got the same sort of strengths to the game. So when that speed and the flair and the trickery and the quick passing isn't really working, they're sort of a bit stuck on what else to do.
Wonderful. We will head now to Bar City and Tiana Moalu.
Hello, we're here with Steve. Where are you from, Steve?
I'm from Bath. Yep.
From Bath?
Yep, born and bred.
What did you say? You were also from Portsmouth? Or?
Well, I was in the Navy many moons ago, so
yeah.
I left in '85, so before you were born, probably.
Yeah, probably. So we're here, half-time. We're by the burger stand. Can we get your thoughts on the game?
So far, fairly even, I would think. Difficult to tell which team is at the top, which is at the bottom.
Yeah.
But yeah, fairly even. Nice early goal scored by Bath, but shame we had to let the equaliser in, really.
Yeah. What's your predictions for the second half?
Hopefully, as long as we did, I mean, I'd like to say we'd win, but
2-1.
I would think so, hopefully. Yeah.
Thank you for your time, Steve.
That's all right, no worries.
Thank you, Tiana. Great start for Bristol City. Isaac?
Yeah.
Any update from you?
Yeah, again, they're going forward here, actually. But yeah, again, just looks so much better immediately, using the ball more. Sinclair Armstrong's come on and just created all sorts of problems, really, for Wrexham, who, yeah, I'm imagining will make a change of their own to sort of counter this sort of big change from Bristol City. I was surprised Jason Knight didn't start, really, as Wrexham have now gone down the other end. Good block. But yeah, I mean, those 3 subs have sort of changed the game and changed the way Bristol City are playing at the moment, and they're on top.
Thank you for the update there, Isaac. We're going to head to the BetRight Stadium now, and Leighton Orient, Plymouth Argyle in League One. Declan Murphy.
1-1 here as the half-time whistle has just been blown at the Bet-Right Stadium between Leyton Orient and Plymouth. The first goal was by Plymouth Argyle. It was a Bim Pebble goal at the back post. It was a Ronan Curtis cross, then it was flicked on by Boateng before Bim Pebble could get on the end of that one. As for Leyton Orient, it was an instant impact for Leyton Orient. A great cross from Morris, and then it was Ollie O'Neill who steered it home with a first-time strike. 1-1 here at the half-time break. A very end-to-end game, both sides looking very confident, very much into the action. Boos ringing around from looks like the away support from the refereeing decisions. But yeah, 1-1 at the Bet-Right Stadium.
Thank you, Declan. Any update, Felix, from the Signal Iduna Park?
No goals, other than the first one. Both sides not really creating many shots. A lot of chances, but still they look a bit sort of nervous to really commit to them. One shot on target for each team, just coming to the 40th minute. Dortmund were just in behind there, but they almost sort of shied away from it a little bit. They turned around and sort of waited for support, and then the moment's gone now, and sort of just more passing it round the box. So someone's just been booked here, actually. It's a free kick. I think it's going to be in a dangerous position here for Dortmund. It's a foul on Guirassy there. So maybe something coming soon. But yeah, a little bit sort of anxious, I think, from both teams to really sort of commit to something properly, because they've both been hitting on the counter so effectively that I think they're quite scared, to be honest.
Wonderful, thank you. We've had an early goal in the second half in League Two. Accrington Stanley taking the lead away at Tranmere. And also in the National League, Gateshead have doubled their lead away at FC Halifax Town. But we will now head to James McLean for an update with Totton versus Hampton and Richmond Borough. James.
Time here at the Snow Stadium in the National League South. AFC Totton 1, Hampton and Richmond Borough 1. Ashley Clark scored for Totton, fired hard into the top right corner. And it was Reece Griggo-Cox from Hampton Richmond who fired as hard into the right-hand corner, found as much of the right-hand corner as he could. Brian Gosling, no chance. And it's AFC Tottenham 1, Hampton Richmond Borough 1 at half-time.
Perfect, thank you, James. Half-time report, please, Max, from your game, Monaco PSG.
Yeah, like I said earlier, it's just sort of all been PSG. I think from Monaco's perspective, it's been quite frustrating because they raced into that 2-0 lead, only 18 minutes in when Balogun made it 2, and it was against the run of play, but you'd really think that would have settled them. But the substitution from Dembele to Doué just completely threw them off guard. It only took 3 minutes for Doué to come on and really make that impact by finding the goal, and since then it's been a bit more even, but even at 2-0 it was all PSG. PSG's still been the better team, and I would expect them to come through and win this game. They're 1.65 to win this game to Monaco's 1.16. So the odds are in PSG's favour, and I think that's understandable. They've been the better of the two teams. As the players came off, Dembele looked frustrated. So that maybe signals that it was more of a tactical one than a injury. But if it wasn't, it worked geniusly.
Sam, half-time report, Benfica, Real Madrid, please.
I've just pulled the stats up here, and it has Real Madrid expected 0.9 goal.
Goal for
Hold
Dortmund.
on, we will go to Felix at Dortmund.
Yeah, it's a goal for Dortmund. Bayer. It's Guirassy, I think, makes a massive charge in behind from the left wing. I'm not sure how he must have drifted out there. Bayer makes a run. The defender has to commit, going to Guirassy, leaves Bayer open, squares it across, and he taps it into an empty net from, I think, less than 6 yards out. So, 2-0 now to Dortmund, just 3 minutes away from half-time.
Wonderful. Another goal in League One as Lincoln have doubled their lead at home to Northampton. Back to you, Sam. Half-time update.
As I was saying, Real Madrid got expected goals of 0.9, Benfica 0.16. But watching that, I would have expected Real Madrid to score a couple at least. I think there were some terrific opportunities there. About the 36th minute, Rafa Silva went down for minimal contact, got the physios on. You think maybe experienced manager and Jose Mourinho saw the way the game was going, tried to slow it down, but it didn't do much for them because after that, Real Madrid kept on keeping on at them. And I just think if both teams come out the same way they went in, this game can only go to Real Madrid.
Wonderful. Thank you, Sam. We've got a couple of goals in League One. Barnsley have taken the lead against Peterborough, as have Bradford against Stockport County. Have we reached half-time yet in your game, Felix?
No, we have not. We're still a few minutes of regulation
time to go. But yeah, I mean, the goal again, it was lovely hold-up play from Garassi. He played a little 1-2 with Metra in the midfield, and then yeah, Bayer actually did brilliantly to time the run because he was in front of Garassi, so he would have been offside, but it was perfectly timed. Ball curled back towards him, and he yeah, just had to tap it into an empty net. So brilliant play from Dortmund. And they might be in here again. Oh, no, it's just gone past them. Never mind. But yeah, no, brilliant
Wonderful.
play.
Thank you, Felix. Any more updates from Ashton Gate, Isaac?
Yeah, Wrexham coming back on top again, actually. Sort of weathered that storm. Obviously did concede an equaliser, but it looked like Bristol City were going to go ahead for a bit. But they've sort of weathered that, and now getting back on top at Phil Parkinson's side. They played some lovely stuff, actually, at times. But yeah, still 1-1 here. And yeah, I mean, it could go either way, this game, honestly. It's right on a knife's edge at the minute.
Cool. Thank you, Isaac. We have report coming in from Dorking and Max Cochrane.
It is still 0-0 here at Meadowbank, but there's been a half-time substitution with George Knight coming off, a midfielder for Jason Pryor, an attacker for Dorking Wanderers. Can't quite smell blood in the Hornchurch back line, quite possibly. But despite that, Hornchurch have actually started off the better team so far, with a few attacks coming in flurries down either flank. Henry Sandat having a header comfortably saved by Harrison Folks in the Dorking net, shall I say? But currently it still remains goalless here.
Thank you, Max. It goes from bad to worse from Northampton. They'd not only trailed Lincoln 2-0, but they've also been reduced to 10 men. We will now head to the Valley and David Howes.
Howes here, reporting live for Solent Sports News here at the Valley for this championship fixture between Charlton Athletic and Portsmouth, just entering the start of the second half. It's currently Charlton 0, Portsmouth 2. An unbelievable finish from Terry Devlin at the start of the first half, put Pompey ahead, and it was another sucker punch for Nathan Jones' side when Amari Bell gave away a penalty due to handball. And with the antics going on in the background behind me, you hear the cheers there. That is the Charlton fans cheering the referee. They've been extremely angered by this referee's performance here at the Valley. But going back to the handball, it was a fantastic penalty from Colby Bishop. Bishop's not scored since August for Portsmouth in the Championship. He scored against Arsenal in the FA Cup back in January. In terms of Championship goals, that is only Bishop's second of the season, and also a penalty for him. He missed a penalty against Norwich City at Pompey's first home game of the season at Frampton Park when they lost 2-1 at home to the Canaries. So for Portsmouth, it's all looking up. Charlton have made 2 changes here at half-time. 3 changes, sorry. Colin Coventry, Tyrese Campbell and Jaden Verriver have come on for the Addicts, who are looking to find their way back in this game. It's currently Charlton 0, Portsmouth 2.
Just there.
Thank you, David. And now to Jake at Reading Bolton.
Yeah, hi Marcus. Half time here. Reading 1, Bolton 0. That 36th minute goal by Jack Mowat for his 16th of the season is the only goal that separates the 2 sides. And after that goal, Reading really did take the game to Bolton after that. Plenty of chances and kept on flying forward. And the real trouble for Reading is keeping Ibrahim Sissoko quiet on the left-hand side here for Bolton. He's been the one creating the chances. He's been the main man for Bolton so far, but they've just not really been able to create anything big here for Bolton. It's just remaining very, very cagey, and it's just Reading. We're just comfortably just passing the ball about, just sort of relaxing, trying to calm the game down and just keep it all calm and collected. And they won't really want to risk too much now with that 1-goal lead that they'll have. But nothing else major to report. No big changes yet for the second half, and I'm sure there'll be more to tell you in the second half. Thank you.
Since he's come on, giving them so much more to think about, running behind. I'm not sure it was a harder chance than his first one, but he just sort of dragged it wide. The connection wasn't great. There's actually an injury here for Ben Sheaf at the moment for Wrexham, so a bit of a stoppage in the game. But yeah, about a minute ago, decent chance for Armstrong, and he'll just be disappointed because he hit that first one so cleanly, and this was just a bit of a just sort of dragged it wide of the far post. But yeah, still 1-1 here on the hour mark.
Thank you, Isaac. And now to Stadium NK and Leighton Hewlett.
0-0 here, two great chances from either side. Crawley with a long distance strike straight at Craig McGillivray, who spilled it at the start but came back up to save the rebound again before any players could get to the ball. Then Dons just quickly regained the ball. A lovely ball into the centre of the box, shot straight at the Crawley keeper. Still 0-0 here.
Leighton, and now to Tiana at Bath versus Ebbsfleet.
Still 1-1 here. It's Wortham Park. It's 53 minutes in, and Jaden Putman from QPR, who's had his contract extended, got close to the goal, but unfortunately had the ball kicked away by Ebbsfleet United. So 1-1, sorry. Here at Bath City, updates to come soon.
An update from Bristol City Wrexham, Isaac.
Yeah, I mean, it's a really sort of up and down game. You see Bristol City have a sort of a good 5-minute spell, and then it'll be Wrexham. It's just, yeah, it's a bit of an odd game so far. But I just think momentum's at the moment with Bristol City. They've chucked on another substitute on for Tommy Hover.
Go! Vinicius Junior, and it is an absolute worldie. And oh my God, he's done a little samba dance. What a saucy minx that man is. And it is a hell of a goal, I tell you. Just from the top corner of the penalty box, and he's opened up his body, opposite corner, top corner. It is a wonderful finish. Oh my! But the referee is saying something to him. The goal may not stand. Oh my God! And he is an unhappy camper. I can tell you that for free. The referee now consulting with VAR. I think the goal will stand. I'm not quite sure what he's even looking at, to be fair. And yes, the goal does stand. What a goal it was by Vinicius Junior.
Blimey, an absolute worldie there from Vinicius Junior. Cool. We will head to the BetRight Stadium and Declan Murphy watching Leyton Orient versus Plymouth Argyle.
Plymouth Argyle here at the BetRight Stadium. Two changes for the away side and the leading side. Top goal scorer and joint top assister Lauren Tallage comes on with Matty Sorinola. The players coming off are Owen Dale and Caleb Watt. A very end-to-end game. The away fans are in high spirits, singing loud. The attendance was announced at 8,827, I think it was. But yeah, 2-1 here at the BetRight Stadium in this Sky Bet League One action.
Wonderful. Thanks for the update, Declan. We're going to head now for another update at the Snow Stadium and James McLean.
There's not much that's been happening so far in the first 20 or so minutes of this second half. But what I can tell you is that Edwino Vaz might have to be escorted by security out of this place tonight because he's just been tripped again by Ashley Clark. Clark picked himself up a yellow. There's been a few counter-attacks here and there, a few chances again for Tony Lee to get that 13th of the season. Not come off for him so far, but I would like to make a correction that I made to a mistake in the first half. Ashley Clark and Rhys Grigor-Cox were scoring their 6th goals of the season, not their 5th, like I said, so apologies, and it still remains here at the Snow Stadium. AFC Tottenham 1, Hampton Richmond Borough 1.
Wow. Wonderful, thank you, James. More goal updates. Chesham United have taken the lead at 10-man Eastbourne Borough in the National League South, and Horsham have pulled one back away at Enfield Town. Yellow cards in the Benfica Real Madrid game, Sam.
Yes, when I was confused as to why the referee was talking to Vinicius Junior, he was actually showing him a yellow card for excessive celebrations. I told you he hit a nice little samba dance, and the referee, unlike me, was not a big fan of that and showed a yellow card.
Thank you, Sam. Are PSG on top now against 10-man Monaco, Max, or has it stayed very much the same?
Yeah, the red card has sort of made Monaco just pin themselves back into their own box a little bit. The occasional break forward for the host, but nothing really to report about. I did say at the top of the show that Monaco had 17 cards before today in the Champions League. One of them red will make that 2 now. Monaco looked to break Vitinha. pulls down Balogun, and it's pulled for a free kick, which sort of stopped any chance of a Monaco counter-attack. But every time Monaco try and play the ball forward, just that back line and the holding midfield of Vitinha for PSG just cancels it out.
Wonderful, thank you, Max. And now to Eric Hogg at the Raymax Stadium in National League South.
Hi, yeah, it's still 0-0 here. Not really much else to report on. Apart from Salisbury had a very good strike from the outside of the box, which was saved very well by Will Henry. It was a strike coming from Mo Dabray. And a few moments ago, there was a 6-7 shot coming from the Salisbury fans. Not too sure what's going on there, but yeah, it's still 0-0 at the stadium. Go on.
Cool, thank you, Eric. Goal at Ashton Gate, Isaac.
Yeah, Wrexham taking the lead a bit against the run of play, but it's actually an own goal. It was steered in by the substitute, I think, Joe Williams, who's just come on. Just can't really sort his feet out. He's ended up turning it. It was a good ball back into the mix from George Thomason, I think it was, for Wrexham. And Williams has just sort of stuck a leg out. It's ended up flying. Nothing VTech could do about it. It would have been a really good finish if he was at the other end, but unfortunately Bristol City are 2-1 down for Joe Williams. So yeah, unfortunate for him really, but you've got to say it was against the run of play really, and Wrexham have taken a lead with about 15 minutes to go.
Perfect, thank you, Isaac. Another goal to report. Aldershot have taken the lead in the National League at Hewish Park, so they currently lead Yeovil 2-1. And to Sam, your thoughts on VAR?
Well, in this game, instead of video assistance, they'd want audio assistant. They want some of the players mic'd up. It was Prastani who covered his mouth and said something to Vinicius Jr., which has caused this delay. And 10 minutes later, we're still not back underway. It did look for a second like we were going to play. Both teams were lined up, ready for kickoff. Something was said again, and both teams ran at each other. Oh my God, we've kicked off after over 10 minutes. The game is back underway. I cannot believe my eyes. Football is being played.
Thank you, Sam. Isaac, your thoughts on VAR?
Hate it. Absolutely ruins the game. I'm not saying that the quality of this game has been as good as these three lads, but I've enjoyed it. No stoppages for any sort of, brushing of the arm or offside shouts. It needs to be completely scrapped from all football, to be honest. Everyone says, well, it takes away human error, but humans control VAR, and you don't see it take away human error on multiple occasions. So, no, it needs to go.
Thank you, Isaac. Huge chance at Monaco PSG, Max.
Yeah, it's a beautiful ball in, and it's the PSG centre midfielder Emery who's just goes for a glancing header, and he's not found it. And PSG just amazed me. There's a ball into the box with three attackers on the pitch, and it's two holding midfielders, and then a right back going for the header. But Monaco just being brutally punished from that red card. They've barely been able to get out of their own half. Every time they have, it's just been swept up by PSG because it's been a 3-on-5 or 6 attack, just marauding forward PSG every time they get the ball. If PSG don't find a winner here, they're going to be kicking themselves.
Thank you, Max. And now an update in League One from Leyton Orient, Plymouth Argyle, Declan Murphy.
Goal for Plymouth Argyle, 3-1 here at the BetRight Stadium. Plymouth look like they're going to be going home with all 3 points. It was Matthias Ross with the goal from a corner, Ronan Curtis with the crossing, and the Dane guides it into the far corner. Ronan Curtis with a goal and an assist, looking like he's going to get man of the match here in front of the 8,800 fans. In between the midst of all that, Leyton Orient did make 2 substitutions before that goal. Abdullahi and Wellens on for Archibald and Dylan Levitt. 2-1-2 Plymouth Argyle here at the BetRight Stadium.
Thank you, Declan. Max, back to you, another opportunity.
Yeah, and it's that man again, is Zari Emery. A really good pass to play down the left-hand side. It's Barcola, who, a nice bit of trickery, laid it off to Vitinha in the middle of the park. A lovely little roll of the ball as he rolled it back to Emery. I think it was a bit of a 50-50 between him and Fayers. Emery got to the ball first, but it was a bit of a snapshot, a sliced effort. Not going to trouble Philip in goal.
Thank you, Max. And now another update from Leighton Hewlett at MK Dons Crawley Town.
0-0 here still at Stadium MK. A few opportunities, but this is second sub for the Dons. Hepburn Murphy is being replaced by Scott Hogan.
Thank you, Leighton. We will now head to the Raymac and Eric Hogg.
Hi guys, it's still 0-0 here at Freemat. There's just been a few substitutions actually. So Salisbury have just brought off number 11, which is Nathan Odukunero, and they've brought on Tommy Willard, replacement for him. And for Chippenham Town, they've just brought off Harry Parsons, and they've brought on Kane Bradbury. They're both attacking substitutions for both sides, so both sides look to be going for the win. Anyway, it's still 0-0 here, 10 minutes left.
Thank you, Eric. More substitutions to bring you and talk about. Felix?
Yeah, 2 changes at half-time for Atalanta, although I think they're going with the same shape. I think protecting the players, both players coming off on a booking, including Scamacca. He, like I said, really didn't provide anything in that half. Instead, coming on in his place is Nikola Kristovic, who I'm surprised, honestly, didn't start the game. He's got 13 goals in all competitions this season. He's been great for them so far, and I think, yeah, it was only a matter of time till he was coming on with that Scamacca yellow. But yeah, same shape, just protecting his players who are on a booking so far.
Thank you. There's been a big chance at Ashton Gate. We will go there in a sec with Isaac, but a few updates to give you. National League North, AFC Telford are drawing 2-2 at home to Chorley, and Spennymoor Town, despite being down to 10 men, are 2-0 up away at Leamington. The big chance for you, Isaac?
It's got to be game over. Wrexham have missed an absolute sitter. It's a lovely flick from Josh Windus as he comes in with his back to goal, and Dobson's about 8 yards out, and he's just fell over as he's hit it and just rolled it wide. It's a dreadful finish. Wrexham should be home and hosed. As it is, there's still 9 minutes plus injury time for Bristol City to get back into this. That said, Josh Windus has really changed the game since he's come on. Obviously, we know his quality, and yeah, he's come off the bench, and he's possibly helped Wrexham get the 3 points tonight, but it should have been game over.
Wonderful. Thank you, Isaac. Northampton Town have hit rock bottom of the pan at Lincoln City. They're down to 10 men and trail by 4 goals to 0. Any updates from you, Sam? Are we still playing?
Yes, the game is well and truly underway, and it's back to business as usual. Real Madrid having the better of it since we've got back underway. Just controlling it. Arda Güler rivaling one of the attempts in the first half with just an awful effort where he's caught it just so poorly. I mean, it's gone the other way from where he's looking. It's nowhere near the goal. But despite that, Real Madrid still clearly having the better of this game.
Wonderful. Thank you, Sam. Give me some sugar on the game at Monaco PSG, Max.
Yeah, it was a really good chance. And again, this time it's Neves for PSG. A lovely ball from the left-hand side for Mendes, but the chance just goes begging. Monaco have made a substitution. They've gone to a flat 5 at the back. It's right back. Crepper and Diatta coming on for Agliese on the right-hand side. So I think when they do have the ball, they're still at a 4 with Diatta managing to come forward, but they barely have got the ball, so they are sort of sitting at a 5. PSG are begging for a substitution because everything they try is sort of just being chucked straight back at them. They need something fresh. They need a different idea, maybe a Ramos to come on, because they're chucking a lot of balls into the box, but there's no one really there to win the header.
Thank you, Max. Goals galore in the Championship. Charlton have scored against Portsmouth. We will give you an update at some point from David there at the Valley, but now we will head to Max at Dorking.
Hello, it still remains at Meadowbank. Dorking 1, Hornchurch 0 currently. Dorking go 5 points clear top of the National League South as Dorking come on the attack here. Lance crosses it in, falls into Louis Anelsley, but his shot goes well over. Despite going 1 goal up, Dorking have still been ramping on the pressure, coming forward with Niall Lannis, who has been quite a live wire for the Wanderers. Hornchurch have had 1 or 2 attempts in since the goal. Second half substitute Henry Hearn having a headed attempt just about smothered by Harrison Folks, but it still remains at Meadowbank. Dorking 1, Hornchurch 0.
Max. We will head to other Max now. Have PSG flipped the tie?
They have indeed, and it's a bit of commentator curse. I said they needed a sub to try and win the game. They don't. It was a lovely team goal. Hakimi to Kvaratskhelia. Kvaratskhelia back to Hakimi. Inside to Zaire Emery before he laid it off to Desiree Douy. A slick left-footed finish past the goalkeeper, giving him no chance. And now Monaco have got a serious job to do. They can't sit back and hold on to a point anymore, or to a draw, sorry. They've got to go for a goal.
Wonderful. Thank you, Max. Any updates, Felix?
The subs have been a little bit of a nothing show so far for Atalanta. Kristovic did have a shot, but it was from miles out and wouldn't have challenged Kobel in any way, shape or form. Yeah, still a little bit flat. Dortmund still look to be the team who are on top, still pressing really hard. It makes me think that Atalanta are probably missing a few people. Obviously, De Ketelaro, who's normally one of the first names on the team sheet, he's out injured. And of course, Ademola Lookman, recently just been sold to Atletico Madrid. Makes me wonder if they're really starting to miss those two out here tonight.
Thank you, Felix. We will now head to Bath City and Tiana Moalu.
2-1 here at Swerton Park. Baumann made a challenge. It was not so good. So Ebbsfleet got a penalty. Dominic Samuel made it 2-1. So Ebbsfleet United.
Thank you, Tiana. Big chance in Monaco. Have Monaco equalised, Max, or have PSG put the icing on the cherry on the icing on the cake?
Neither quite yet, but it was nearly an equaliser for Monaco. Lovely effort from the edge of the box from Zakaria, and it was a fingertip save around the post of Safanov. This resulted in a corner. It's been put into the box. It's messy, but it's eventually been cleared. PSG have made a substitution. Kvaratskhelia makes way for Lee, who comes on to maybe just assure things in the middle of the park. I don't really know where he's going to go. He may go out onto the right-hand side, but he also may sit in the centre and sort of keep things a little bit tighter.
Thank you, Max. What's the source of choice at Benfica, Sam?
Well, Benfica, obviously, as I've said, they're not having the best of this game, but they did go up the other end, and Rafa Silva had a good chance. But since then, again, it's just gone back to being Real Madrid. But they're doing well to keep them out. Shot there for Real Madrid, as I said, that doesn't go in, Vinicius Junior. But yeah, the Benfica defence is just about doing enough to keep Real Madrid at bay and keep this game at just 1-0. And they'll be hoping to go up the other end and hopefully nick one.
Thank you, Sam. Update from Stadium MK and Leighton Hewlett.
0-0 here, double substitution for Crawley Town. As we just wait for them to come on. Number 28, Josh Flint is being coming off, and Johnny Russell is going to replace him. As we just wait for the second substitution. Number 44, Kylie Lolos, being replaced by number 22, Adi Adiemo, as Crawley look to try and pounce on this game.
Thank you, Leighton. And now to Jake Pearce and Reading.
Reading 1, Bolton 0. Not much to report on in the second half. Powdy O'Connor went down for a long amount of time after a late challenge from John Kenny. No booking from John Kenny, but it did result in Powdy O'Connor having to be subbed off. And Jack Marriott was also replaced due to injury just before that, with Kelvin Ehibatman replacing him. But nothing else major to report, as Bolton have given away a free kick, much to the fans' annoyance down here to my right-hand side. But nothing else major to report apart from them two substitutions, and it remains Reading 1, Bolton 0.
Thank you, Jake. We have a big chance in the Championship. Isaac.
The absolute delirium at Ashton Gate. This is as good a strike as you'll see. Max Bird has just hit one on the volley. The cross from George Tanner, he's about 20 yards just outside the edge of the box, and he has absolutely hammered it off the underside of the crossbar and in. And there's still sort of 90 seconds of regular time to go plus injuries. Can Bristol City go on and win and get into the top 6? Wrexham was sitting in the top 6. They're now both dropped out. It's an unbelievable hit from Max Bird. And he's possibly rescued Bristol City a point. They might even set up for a big grandstand finish here at Ashton Gate.
Thank you, Isaac. Goal updates in League One. Cardiff City are extending their lead at the top of the table to 4 points over Lincoln. They are 4-1 up against Wimbledon. And Lincoln are obviously 4-0 up at home to Northampton. Any other goals to report for you? Barnsley 2-1 up against Peterborough. Bradford 1-0 up against Stockport. Burton also 1-0 up against Rotherham. And now we will head to Bath City and Tiana Moalu.
With less than 8 minutes to go, there's a challenge by number 5, Bath City, Jack Batten, and he gets a yellow card.
Thank you, Tiana. More goal updates from dying minutes in League One. Doncaster 1, Huddersfield 0, Exeter 0, Wickham 1, Leyton Orient 1, Plymouth Argyle 3, Stevenage 2, Port Vale 1, Blackpool 1 and Mansfield 0, and Reading 1, Bolton 0. Those last 2 games both 8 o'clock kickoff. We have a big chance. Ashton Gates, Isaac.
No. Can you believe it? Bergsall has ran through on goal. He's tried to go around the goalkeeper. He's nicked it off the defender brilliantly, Bergsall. He's running behind. He's tried to go around the goalkeeper. The touch was heavy. He's fell over. The referee's, I think the referee's given a free kick and booked him for diving. He has. So it's not a penalty. Bergsall seems convinced that he was brought down by the keeper just as we go into injury time. What a chance for Bristol City to take the 3 points. Just having a look at it again now. So he nicks it off Hyam brilliantly, and he's through. The keeper does come out. No, it doesn't look like. I think that is a dive. I think this is a good decision from the referee. Yeah, definite dive. But what a chance for City.
Thank you, Isaac. Scores in League 2. Barnet 1, Swindon 2, Barrow 0, Harrogate Town 1, Bromley 1, Cheltenham 1. We will come back to the scores in League 2, but now we're going to Declan Murphy at Leyton Orient.
Leyton Orient 1, Plymouth Argyle 3 at the BetRight Stadium. It was Harding who curled an effort towards goal, hitting the post. A bin Pebble followed it in, but he was offside. He's just come off for Xavier Ameki, and Josh Koroma has just come on for favourite formerly. Josh Koroma, he did get the goal the last time these two sides did meet in the league back at the start of the season. But yeah, 3-1 here at the BetRight Stadium. Plymouth Argyle look like they're going home with all 3 points. So yeah, 3-1 to Plymouth Argyle.
Thank you, Declan. Back to scores in League 2. Cambridge 1, Colchester 1, Chesterfield 1, Gillingham 0. We'll take another break. We can go to the Stowe Stadium and James McLean.
Well, it's not much happening so far, but it was almost a positive spin on the presenter's curse there, because as you joined me, Ashley Clark was just having another go from his 7th goal of the season, and it wasn't far off, in all honesty. He made Marcus Drewhurst work. It was a lob from just past the box, just outside the box, but it just about went into the hands of Drewhurst. But besides that, it's again, not much has been happening. A few scuffles, let's say minor scuffles, have been threatening to boil over, but nothing's come from those either, and it still remains AFC Tottenham 1, Hampton and Richmond Borough 1.
Thank you, James. Back to scores in League 2. Crewe Alexandra 0, Fleetwood 1, MK Dons 0, Crawley Town 0, Oldham 2, Bristol Rovers 0, Salford City 0, Newport County 3, Shrewsbury 1, Notts County 0, Tranmere 0, 10-man Accrington Stanley 1. In the National League, Halifax Trail Gateshead 2-1, Rochdale 1, Scunthorpe United 1, 10-man Sutton United still leads Woking 2-1, and Yeovil are trailing Aldershot Town by 2 goals to 1. And we now head to Max Cochrane at the Meadowbank.
Well, we are approaching the 90th minute here as it still remains 1-0 to Dorking Wanderers. Hornchurch are now coming forward a little bit with lightning fast Darren McQueen coming on to the pitch. But as we currently speak, Dorking have got it deep in the Hornchurch half. Niall McManus, who has been here, there and everywhere, got named the man of the match for the game. As Hornchurch are on the break here. Can they do anything with it? I believe it is Sandat on the ball, out into McQueen on the left-hand side. They're getting Shepherd out here. But they can't get in the box as it still remains 1-0 to Hornchurch.
Thank you, Max. Scores from the National League North: AFC Telford United 2, Chorley 2, Hereford 1, Darlington 0, Leamington 0, 10-man Spennymoor Town 2, and Southport 0, Buxton 0. As we've just heard them from James. At Totton it's 1-1, and at Dorking it's still 1-0. Bar City 1, Ebbsfleet 2, Chesham 1, Eastbourne Borough 0. There has been a goal at the Raymac. Eric Hogg.
Yeah, there's been a goal here, and Salisbury have won it. It's the captain who's won it, Dominic Revan. Amazing finish. I don't know what to say. It happened quite a few 2 minutes ago, I'm going to say, and now Chippenham have been all over them. Oh, it's the Chippenham ball into the box. Now the keeper's come up. Oh, and Salisbury managed to clear it. Salisbury won the game. Fans are calling for the whistle to be blown here. Go! Is the ref going to do it? We done now. Next game. And Salisbury have won it in the 92nd minute here by captain Dominic Redmond to win. It's 1-0. Back to you. It's finished here. 1-0 Salisbury.
Thank you, Eric. The final game to report in National League South: Enfield Town 2, Horsham 1. Any updates from you, Max?
Yeah, it's hard. Normally, when you're 3-2 up with 10 or so minutes to go, it's a nervy time. But it's the complete opposite for PSG. They are still all over Monaco. Unfortunately for Monaco, with the 10 men, they're still having to sit pretty deep and not concede too many goals. I think instead of this time, normally in a situation like this, try and nick a goal to take it 3-3 in Paris. But I think it's just damage limitations here. It's just try not to concede another. Don't give yourself too much of a mountain to climb, because you can potentially still flip the game on its head back in Paris. But I can imagine for the next 10 minutes, with the same that I've been seeing for the last 30-35, it will be the majority PSG.
Thank you, Max. Into nearly the last half an hour at Dortmund. Felix?
Yeah, it's quieting down a little bit. Dortmund have just got a corner here, actually, but they've still been making the better of the chances. They've brought off the captain, Darun, and it's just gone over the bar there from Julian Brandt. Nearly made it 3, but that's the way it's been going. I think if anyone's scoring next, it's going to be Dortmund again. Atalanta tactically put another attacking player on. It's not worked out for him.
Thank you, Felix. Full time in the Championship at Ashton Gate, Isaac.
Yeah, full-time whistle's just gone. Finishes 2-2. Bristol City had another shout for a penalty right at the end. Rob Dickey was seemingly pulled down in the box, but pretty much the last kick of the game. The referee waved it away. Again, sort of seen them given, but in the end, 2-2. Both teams could have gone into the playoffs tonight. Neither of them will. The points are shared. Really great game of football. Obviously, Max Bird right at the end, in the 89th minute, rescuing Bristol City a point with a great volley. They could have gone on to win it, but in the end, finishing 2-2. Gerard Struber is absolutely furious with the referee at that full time here, but yeah, it's ended 2-2 in the end.
Thank you, Isaac. Update, Sam?
Yeah, was it? Benfica are actually finding their way back into this game, having a few shots, not necessarily on goal, but they are having a few shots. And they've made a couple of changes. In the 74th minute, they brought on Richard Rios and Hero Sudakov, not to be confused with Sudakrem, of course. Very different things. One is a footballer for Benfica. One is something you rub on your body.
Thank you, Sam. Max, updates?
So I'm just trying to wrap my head around that. Yeah, there's been a sub before PSG. Barcola's last moment of the game, and he really could have put his side out of sight. It was a beautiful turn in between the two defenders. He got himself away and had a 1-on-1 chance with Philip Cohn. And he took his effort well, but he got it through the legs of the Monaco keeper, but it just came off, went out for a corner, and he's now been replaced by Ramos. I can assume Ramos will now be there to sort of hold up the ball, try and bring something for the Monaco defence that they haven't really had to deal with for the majority of the game so far. They haven't really had to deal with a target man, a big striker. It's more been pace and runs that will chuck something different to maybe try and find that fourth goal.
Thank you, Max. Full time from around the grounds. Championship, Bristol City 2, Wrexham 2, as previously mentioned. Charlton 1, Portsmouth 3. It's a full-time score there. In League 1, Barnsley 2, Peterborough 1, Bradford 1, Stockport County 0, Burton Albion 0, Rotherham 0, Cardiff City 4, Wimbledon 1, Doncaster 1, Huddersfield 0, Exeter late equaliser at home to Wycombe Wanderers. That's ended 1-1. And then also Lincoln are 1-4-0 against Northampton. And we will head now for a full-time update from the Valley. David Howes.
David Howes reporting for Solent Sports News here at the Valley. It's currently Charlton 1, Portsmouth 3. I'll try and stick through until the full-time whistle. As you can hear behind me, the Portsmouth fans have had a fantastic night here at the Valley. So many painful attempts here to try and win a game. The last time Portsmouth did win here, there was no fans because it was the COVID season in February 2021, over half a decade ago now, where Portsmouth won 3-1 under Danny Cowley. And for the first time in John Messino's tenure, they have won here at the Valley. They've done the double over Charlton. They won 2-1 at Fratton Park. They're currently winning 3-1 here as Ebu Adams comes forward. And could Menelik Ali be in for a fourth goal here? Here comes the Luton Town low knee. And Kane Ramsey, is that a handball there? Not too sure about that one. Can Ogilvie heads it away. Potential another penalty shout. Handball again. And Portsmouth come forward here. Here's Millie Ali. Colby Bishop to aim for. It's 2-on-5 here. 2 white shirts. It's fell to Jacob Brown, the other Luton loanee. And Ebu Adams keep it in on the byline, not quite. Just 20 seconds to go here at the Valley. Give you a bit of analysis when the full-time whistle goes. And Seri Devlin, can he become a hat-trick hero? He's going to break forward here for Portsmouth. Tries to shoot from the away end. And it seems to have gone out there, looking in the reflection of the Charlton TV panel over there. And the full-time whistle has gone here at the Valley. It has finished Charlton Athletic 1, Portsmouth 4. Now Portsmouth are actually, Menelik Ali and Marlon Pack protesting. They wanted the game to carry on and go and get a fourth goal. But it has finished here at the Valley. Charlton 1, Portsmouth 3. I'll go over the goals firstly. Terry Devlin in the first half with an absolute rocket of an effort. Thomas Kaminski getting a hand to it. It was a low effort into the middle of the goal. And that was 1-0 to Portsmouth. They then got a penalty by a handball. Amari Bell, it hit his hand. Upset Colby Bishop, who scored his second goal of the championship season. He missed the penalty, his last penalty against Norwich City back in August in the first home game for Portsmouth this season. You can hear the "we are staying up" chants coming from the away end. That is a massive favour Pompey have done themselves in this championship relegation dogfight. They are now 4 points above Leicester City, who with their 6-point deduction, it's not looking too good for them. Premier League and FA Cup winners not too long ago. They could potentially be on the brink of being relegated to League One. Go back over the goals now. Colby Bishop steps up, converted his penalty. And then in the second half, Terry Devlin with arguably goal of the season for Portsmouth. It was absolute peach of an effort, arguably better than his first. Ran past Luke Chambers, the Liverpool loanee, and absolutely bumped the ball off the post and past Kaminski. And then Jaden Ferriver, the Stockport County loanee, thought he had clawed a...
Thank you, David. Blimey, I need a sweet treat like a pancake to keep me awake after that. Any update from you, Max?
Yeah, PSG are in here. Sakimi plays it across. Good touch from Cohn, but it's come out to the left-hand side. PSG still putting the pressure on Mendez on the edge of the box. Gets into the box and then runs it out of play. Or has he? No, it's been tipped over. It's still in. The referee hasn't blown it. He now has 3.5 minutes to go, plus added time, not as long as David's.
Thank you, Max. And now we're going to the Snow Stadium and James McLean. James, hopefully you're not too cold. Maybe a nice warm pancake with some bacon or maple syrup to warm you up may be needed.
Thank you, Marcus. It's not too cold up here now, but the points have been shared at the Snow Stadium. It's AFC Tottenham 1, Hampton and Richmond 1, and both goals came from each club's second top goal scorer, and both of them scoring their 6th goals of the season. First up, it was Reece Grigo-Cox for Hampton and Richmond. He was put through beautifully is a better way of saying that, by Taylor Clark, and Grigo-Cox fired as hard and as much into the right-hand corner as physically possible. Ryan Gosney had no chance. Then it came the turn of Ashley Clark, who drove into the box, into the right side himself, put Marcus Drewhurst on the floor, and fired hard and powerful, and into the top right-hand corner as physically possible. But you probably won't see Edwino Vaz as much as them two around this place now, after his involvement in the game. So Tottenham will move on to 40 points in the National League South, and Hampton and Richmond will move on to 33. And I saw the message recently, just to explain why I'm dressed up as a builder, it seems, in some scaffolding. This is what we need to wear to be identified as media, and this place here is the gantry where we were made to broadcast this game. So that's your explanation. So again, it's full time here at the Snow Stadium in the National League South. It's AFC Tottenham 1, Hampton Richmond Borough 1.
Perfect. Thank you, James, for the update there. Now we'll head for a full-time update. Max Cochrane at the Meadow Bank, Dorking Wanderers versus Hornchurch.
Well, it's ended here at the top of the table clash in the National League South. Dorking Wanderers 1, Hornchurch 0. It took a solitude goal from wing-back Frank Vincent. As the ball rebounded off the post, it came straight onto his right foot, and he calmly side-footed volleyed it into the top corner, beating Arthur Nasser, who was quite impressive tonight. This result leaves Dorking Wanderers 5 points clear at the top of the table above Torquay United, and surely now Dorking Wanderers are the favourites to go on and lift the National League South title, as it ended Dorking 1, Hornchurch 0.
Thank you, Max. And now to Stadium NK and Leighton Hewlett.
That is full time here. Dons fans booing. Game ends 0-0. Either side didn't look like really scoring here. Dons had the better of the chances, but every shot was straight at goalkeepers. Really hard to see where a winner was coming from in this game. Game ended sourly. Jay Williams down with a head injury. Dons fans booing him, telling him to get up. He then gave it back to the fans. We have ended 0-0 here at Stadium MK.
Thank you, Leighton. Now to Bath City and Tiana Moalu.
2-2 here at Bath City with a last-minute goal from Matt Bowman. After the goal, the assistant manager for Ebbsfleet United was sent off. That's all here from Tiana Moalu from Solent Sport News.
Thank you, Tiana. And now to the Bet-Right Stadium in League One and Leighton Orient, Declan Murphy.
Plymouth Argyle 3, Leighton Orient 1 here at the Bet-Right Stadium. The fourth official has just put up 8 minutes of additional time, so there'll be 8 minutes left to play here. Plymouth Argyle with nearly the goal of the night from the halfway line. The keeper, the substitute keeper, Will Dennis, he nearly spilt it into his goal. It wasn't to be though, and it is still Leighton Orient 1, Plymouth Argyle 3.
Thank you, Declan. Final updates from the panellists here. Max, starting with you.
Yeah, we're into the first minute of 4 added on. PSG still pushing, but not much more else to come from so far. I'll come back to you in a few minutes.
Thank you, Max. Felix?
No, just another penalty shout waved away. The referee really not a fan of penalties. I think that's 4 he's waved off. Bellingham, I'm just seeing it again here. No, it's never a penalty, to be fair. It's never a penalty. But yeah, no, I mean, Atalanta have gone out with a bit of a whimper here, really. I think they've sort of given up hope of clawing back into this. They're just seeing out this 2-goal deficit, and now they've got to try and make something happen in the home leg.
Perfect, thank you, Felix. And now for a final update, Jake Pearce at Reading.
Yeah, it remains at Reading 1, Bolton 0 here. We're about to hit the 90th minute mark and see how many minutes are added on, but it's just been all Bolton so far since that goal in the first half. And Bolton's going forward, and it's cross after cross, but it's block after block from Reading, and they just keep on tearing their lines. And Will Keane and Kelvin Batterman, since they both came on, have been excellent up front for Reading. Just making themselves an option, just battling around, trying to get their defenders time to rest. But still nothing coming of it yet for Bolton, and 7 minutes have just been added on here in this game, and it's just Bolton just look like they've just run out of ideas against this strong Reading defence, unfortunately. But they've got 7 minutes still, so there is still time for them to turn it around. But Reading in no real rush at the minute to get things going as Joel Pereira strolls over to take that free kick in the corner of his own half. But it remains here, Reading 1, Bolton 0.
Thank you, Jake, and thank you, gents, for joining me here in the studio. Thank you so much for joining us all tonight. We'll be back next month for another jam-packed night, and we can't wait to see you. I'm Marcus Mansfield, and this is Solent Sports News.